Hello and welcome to Trails Through Trails, the show where we play through the entire Trails series. I can't even finish the intro because I love last chapter so much, and I love the beginning of this chapter so much. And Trails is so good, guys. This is like some of the best video game writing out there. I'm so high on it.
True.
But we play Trails on this show, and this week we're playing Chapter 7. My name is Lex. I'm one of your hosts, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Matt. I use he, him, also one of your hosts.
I almost forgot to introduce myself because I was just like, it's Trails time. That's how you can tell that I've already started my glass of wine.
Nice.
There's no way it's the reason why, but I'm going to pretend.
What a chapter we have ahead of us this week, Lex.
We do. Another full chapter, which is like, wow, that's 2 in a row.
Another full chapter that's basically one continuous dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into the maze of the altered spaces, what's been going on in the space of Toronto?
Sport. So, I am recording this right now. It is an hour before the final game of the World Series. Baseball, for those who don't know what a World Series is.
Thank you.
So, yes, this is my deep love and reverence for Trails and appreciation for Matt as a friend that I am giving up at least the first hour, if not more, of this game to record this. We are on Game 7, so by the time you hear this, it'll be old news how tonight's game went. But right now, as Matt can see, I'm sitting here in my Blue Jays shirt.
Yep.
Lecturing the world about how, ethically speaking, we all should be supporting the Blue Jays, because you know who is going to be so mad if Canada wins at America's pastime? It's just morally correct. It'll just be a nice rub in his face, you know? We're all taking this as a very big, like, yeah, you can't try to take over our country moment for us. Like, we all see this World Series, like, all of Canada has kind of rallied behind as a, like, statement of, like, we want to stay Canada, we don't want to become the 51st state. That's why this has become such a big deal right now, because it's politically relevant to us, but also it's just fun. The excitement is, it's huge everywhere. Just everything is so ecstatic. Like, every conversation with every client at work this week was just about the Blue Jays, and it was really fun. I wore blue every day this week. It was a good time. Of course, the Dodgers colors also are blue and white. But, you know, I wore our blue, so we're good.
Well, fingers crossed that there is good news to come along with the finals when this episode does come out.
Hopefully. What about you? How has your time in Melbourne been this last week?
Well, Melbourne has been being Melbourne, by which I mean yesterday it was drizzling for most of the day. Today it is 31 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Melbourne has a history of embodying every season, sometimes in the space of a day, which is a real thing to prepare for. I don't know if I've told you this before, but when I first moved to Melbourne, I remember going out to a bar with some friends, and one of them sort of revealed that he had a full seasonal coverage selection in his clothes. He was wearing a big puffy jacket for the winter, and then underneath he had like a flannel for if it got a bit less cool, but still cool, chilly. Then he had an umbrella in one pocket and sunscreen in the other. So today is a lovely 31 degrees Celsius, which means that I mean, you guys can see the podcast art. You know what color I am. I'm going to stay inside today because the sun is not for me.
It's not your friend.
It's fine because I've been playing so many video games. I still don't think I can say it officially, but blah, blah, blah. I want to award some games, blah, blah, blah. You get it, like, obviously. But
yeah.
I've been playing a selection of games, just dipping in on things. So I was playing Doom the Dark Ages last week.
Yes, that's right.
This week, I dipped very briefly into Final Fantasy Tactics Evil East Chronicles, a game I have never gotten past, like, the first 2 fights of.
Yeah, it's supposed to be so hard. And, like, long. It's, like, very long battles.
Slow, yeah, that was the thing. It was a game that would benefit from a turbo button, for sure.
This is why Jeanne d'Arc is the supreme of that era of tactics games. We need more Jeanne d'Arc. For
sure. So I've been playing a bit of that. I also, you know what? Sometimes you're playing 1600 Falcom RPGs at the same time, and you're just like, I need another. So I did check out Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, which is the quote-unquote failed third branch of the Falcom Empire.
Though maybe having a resurgence.
Having a resurgence, yeah. So you have Trails and the Ease series for sort of the talkie RPG and the action RPG branches, I suppose. And then they wanted to go more to a slice of life RPG, kind of a Persona-esque vibe with Tokyo Xanadu, which is based in Tokyo, and you have special powers. It feels very Persona right from the jump.
Though it's action combat, right?
It is action combat. I've only gotten into like one fight so far. That's how little I've played because it's not officially supported on the Switch 2. It's one of that incredibly short list of games that wasn't supported on launch.
That's so funny.
I haven't had any trouble with it. And the only reports I've seen online is that if you go into like the gallery of extras on the main menu, that can crash. Or some people had crashes when they first booted it up when it was, creating system data or whatever. But no, it's been fine. It's a little bit crunchy because it is a port onto Switch 1, not something that's been up for Switch 2, though they have said that they're looking at upgrading it. And there is a sequel coming.
I own it on PlayStation, yeah. I need to open it to play it.
I think that would have been the better option, but it wasn't on sale on there, so
True.
I went for Switch. Because also it felt like, Persona type of game. It feels like something really good to have portable.
Yeah. I bought it years ago, so...
I very briefly dipped into that, and I noticed that when you have the DLC, Falcom games love to have the ride-along characters, like a little plushie that clings to the character's arm as an accessory. There was one of Crow and one of Fee, and then Elisa in her magical girl outfit from some of the later DLCs.
Oh my god, I love Magical Girl Elisa shit. Apparently they made, like, a little manga of it, like, in Japan, but it was never localized, but I would have loved to, though I think we see bits of what that would have been in a later game get referenced.
The skit stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've dipped into that very briefly. I'll go into it more, but there's a sequel coming. They've called it Next Tokyo Xanadu Project, but the rumor is that it's Kyoto Xanadu, which I love. But yeah, it feels very Persona 3 portable in that you sort of walk out of the school and you go to like a shortcut list of places to go next, which I kind of like that kind of tight design of an RPG because it does mean that you can just slam through the story without all of the padding of running back and forth.
I do like that. What I've heard about it is that people have checked it out like as quote unquote a Persona clone, and then everyone comes out of it saying it's one of those games that it doesn't feel like a Persona clone because it has its own ideas, but it's very, very much inspired clearly by Persona. It just falls in that line of like you come away and you're like, okay, they had an idea for it as opposed to they were just trying to reheat Persona's nachos.
Exactly, yeah.
Like they did have an idea for it.
I'm looking forward to playing a bit more of that. I've also, because it just came out, been playing Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD
Oh, I haven't started that. I haven't picked that up yet.
Dragon Quest HD... fucking Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D.
Yes.
There we go. I said the name. It's really good. That is a game that definitely could use faster tracking from location to location because it is quite slow to run back and forth. I think there's like speed sandals you get later in the games, usually that speed you up a bit, but yeah.
Have you played both 1 and 2 or just 1 so far?
So far, I've only played 1.
Is there a party in 1? Or because I think in the original it was just solo, but no, it's just you.
You're just solo. They've changed it so that instead of always being 1v1 battles against enemies, you can actually fight groups of enemies because, you've got like later game spells where you've got like group attacks and stuff like that. I know
Brennan Beegalee was playing it and talked about it on ITA a few years ago, and he was like, obviously it's dated, but it's really interesting and like compelling to play in part because of the uniquely dated qualities, but like the things that place it at the beginning of this genre are really interesting and compelling. The ways you can tell that they hadn't figured out what a JRPG was yet.
Yeah, it's definitely a different approach, like having the singular party, because it changes the tactics in combat as well. Yeah. All those like moves that you never used in a party combat suddenly become super important. Like there's dodgy dance, which just increases your evasion, which I don't think anyone ever uses in most of the games unless it's like a really tough boss fight.
So it's like 1v1 competitive Pokemon? Because that's the only time they seem to use those moves in competitive, when they're like, let's use like the thing to make me dodgy 10 times and then my bird will dodge everything and kill you.
So you have to take kind of the same approach because otherwise you have to just like brute force your way through getting attacked nonstop. And I mean, it's fun because like all those seeds that you get that upgrade your stats little by little.
Yeah.
Where normally you have to debate like, oh, which party member do I give the magic or defense to? Now you just like everything goes to the hero.
That's useful.
So just because I had bought the game, I got some DLC. And also you get like an extra dog costume if you have save data from Dragon Quest 3 already.
Oh, interesting.
You get all these seeds as like a bonus for getting the game, so I was just like immediately just like force feeding steroids into the hero's mouth at level 2 so that he can grow into a bigger, stronger boy.
But there's another game that we've been having a blast playing, and that's the one that we're all here to talk about today. So let's trail into the sky.
Let us trail into that sky, Chapter 7.
We're good to go!
we open with a tetracyclic tower. We see the roof of the Esmelas Tower, and Bleu Blanc is there. And I love that the first line he says is, "This is Bleu Blanc." Like, and he's standing on a pillar. There's just something dramatically understated, like, "This is Bleu Blanc." Like, he's on a phone or on some sort of communication thing. And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm ready." The doohickey fires up weirdly. We kind of don't know why. It's like, it looks kind of like the EMP effect of the gospel, but it, like, grows out. And then we see Carnelia Tower, Walter's on the roof doing the same thing, Lucy's on top of Sapphirl Tower doing the same thing, and Ren is on Amberl Tower doing the same thing. They're all say they're in place, and then we go to Weissman, who's like, "All right, we're ready to do the thing," and then he pushes a big button, and all the towers do the doohickey things do the weird thing.
Yeah, I really like, he's got this weird device, he's on the back deck of one of the little Society airships, and he's got this big clunky machine on it that looks like the dialing devices from Stargate.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to open a wormhole or something for a second.
I was like, it's one of those giant, that was easy buttons.
But he has his big dramatic speech. He summons his weird spear thing and says, "Oriole, sealed in the darkness where Septium's light does not reach, may you gaze upon our poor material world through your gospel." And then some big light show stuff starts happening. There's a glowing blob in the middle of the sky, and his Stargate dialing device is lighting up.
It's like a big eyeball.
The same way that the doohickeys is lighting up. Is it meant to be an eyeball?
I read it as an eyeball. Like, an eyeball that's, like, transposed on top of, like, Weissman and the image, like, of the sky that he's sitting on. I took it as, like, a glowing, like, yellow eye, like, it's shaped like an eye. And he says, like, you'll see through your gospels, so I got the impression that it was, like, the gospels are now opening, like, a little eye hole.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, then he says something about the tetracyclic towers taking their true form. He says, "Gaze upon these 4 pillars, they are the final shackles that bind you." This is a long speech to be giving to a thing in another dimension. "Simple they may appear to be, but know that their purpose was long shrouded by the decree of man. With hands which bend the will of all, reveal their true form." I like that he's, like, mansplaining what the towers are to the Oriole.
Yeah.
Who probably knows.
Like, I think the Oriole knows what it is that's kept it trapped for 1,000-odd years.
Very on brand for the man who kind of engineered the men's rights movement in Liberl to kind of be like, so here's what you need to know about your jail. Shut up, Weissman.
Oriole is, like, a feminine enough name, I guess, that he doesn't see the difference between a giant eldritch space magic creation and, like, could be a woman. We gotta be careful. We gotta mansplain to her.
It's too close to the word areola, so in his brain it's just being conflated, yeah.
Because men don't have those.
No, they don't. Not Weissman.
Weissman's got no nips. This just in, folks.
At this point, all 4 towers start charging their laser.
Yeah.
And then it is time for them to shoot at something because it's all beginning. They all light up with cool, like, holographic spell circle type things.
Yep.
And then we cut to the title card. Chapter 7, the Tetracyclic Towers.
And then we cut in, back, catch up with our characters. We have Joshua in a cell in front of the Queen, sitting on her throne, and General Morgan sitting to the side. And it seems Joshua's just finished reporting everything that happened on board the Glorious, everything that happened last chapter. We learned that we had contacted Cassius last night. We talked to him before the Queen. Like, we came to him after, which is good. So, like, we called home. We called Dad.
So he's already got airships patrolling the skies, same as when we were hunting the dragon, just to kind of be on the lookout for any fucked up society shit.
Yeah. And then Joshua apologizes for his bullshit till now, including stealing that airship. And the Queen's like, you don't have to apologize. And I pardon you in light of, you've given us all this information. I can easily pardon you for the little thing you did. And Joshua kind of tries to protest. And she gets up off the throne, which I think is very symbolically like her taking herself off of this pedestal and comes and stands very close to him. It's almost like she takes his hands. She doesn't, but it's kind of, you get that impression from, like, the way she approaches him. And she says, "It's all right. An orphan of Hamel deserves much more than just me, like, pardoning something, like, overlooking something. You deserve a lot more than that." And then she talks a bit about her side of Hamel, which is apparently that when the Empire figured out what was going on and made peace with Liberl, offered the treaty, they said the condition was that Liberl could never ever speak about the Hamel thing.
Yeah, neither country could.
And even though Liberl was, like, in a tactically advantageous position in the war, because Cassius had just done a bunch of stuff, Erebonia still hadn't committed the bulk of their forces. Like, this is only a bit of a fraction of their forces that was even here in the first place. So if Erebonia doubled down and brought everyone else in, Liberl was still fucked. So Alicia prioritized Liberl and agreed to the terms, even though, as she says, she was sentencing the victims of Hummel to never have the truth known to the world and have the truth and justice spread that way. And then Joshua, I really like this. Joshua says she doesn't need to apologize. And he says, "This land of Liberl is my home. It is the place that mended my broken heart. I don't hate you for choosing to protect it, Your Majesty. I thank you for it." I thought that was really quite sweet as a way to look at, obviously this is a tactical decision that she made, that her job as Queen of Liberl is to protect Liberl.
Yeah, I really liked it because it's extremely reasonable. Joshua is back again. We love to see it. I appreciate that you did what you did for the sake of your country because I love this country. And if you didn't do that for the sake of your country, it wouldn't be the country I love.
Yeah.
It's a cyclic logic, but it's rough, but it's the best way that it could have played out realistically.
And I think it kind of highlights one of the differences between Joshua and Louvet, which is that Louvet never found another home, really, after Hummel. And so he has been distant from the world since, so he looks on everything from this outsider perspective. And, obviously his anger is more than justified. What happened to Hummel was horrible and inexcusable. But he's looking at the decisions, and we know that he has anger and blame towards Queen Alicia as well for her part in covering this up. But he's never been part of Liberl. He's never walked among the people and felt like part of that community. He's never understood what it was she was protecting by making that choice. And so even though, you can argue one way or another about a choice, with any political choice, he sees it not from the perspective of this is what she was protecting, because he has never allowed himself to forge the bonds to foreshadow something we're talking about soon. He has deliberately isolated himself from humanity and from forging connections with people, whereas Joshua has found a home in this place and understands what she wanted to protect and believes it was worth protecting. It's not that he doesn't think the people of Hummel are as important. It's both pragmatic and idealistic in a way to be obviously you couldn't do anything, but also just as the people of Liberl aren't worth more than the people of Hummel, the people of Hummel also aren't worth more than the people of Liberl. Would it have been right for the whole country of Liberl to be subjugated and destroyed because of something they had nothing to do with? Which is kind of funny because Louvet is, you'd think, the more practical one because he's so cold, but he's very emotionally driven in terms of how he's seeing this, whereas Joshua is kind of more rational. By having love and by having connection to people, Joshua is actually more rational than Louvet, which I kind of like as a reversal of the stereotype that emotion and human connection makes you less rational.
It is kind of an interesting counterpoint to Josh's arguments with Cassius, which is, he was always I'm playing pretend that I've found a family and I've found peace. But at the end, I'm still the cold, loner, dispossessed person, and I'm going to go back to that one day when I leave the family because that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Louvet just remained dispossessed the entire time. So he thinks he's the same. But then it's no, actually, having a family and love in your life for 6 years did make a difference, shocker.
Yeah. And going without, depriving yourself of human contact and connection, you're not the same person that you were 10 years ago because you've deprived yourself of human connection for 10 years when you had human connection before that. That will have changed you. Obviously, the trauma changed him as well, but that isolation changed him.
Yeah, and it kind of plays to the thing we've been highlighting with Josh being this caricature of an evil guy the entire time.
Yeah.
Because it is a role he's trying to play. It's not kind of a role he's slipping back into. He's just kind of this is what I remember being an evil society guy being like. So that's what I'm going to play. Well,
and it's he's giving into his intrusive thoughts, which are not an accurate depiction of who... when I've had struggled with depression, right? My brain gets into this place of... Because I've struggled with depression since I was a preteen, on and off. And my brain gets into a very, self-isolated, right? Your instinct is to self-isolate and disconnect. And your brain is constantly telling you that your view of the world is the only objective one. That nobody else... that you're cold and rational and you're the only one who sees the truth. And the truth is all the bad things that you think. Your mental illness will trick you into thinking it's rational, but it's not. It's deeply biased, right? Self-hatred is not coming from a rational place. It is not. It's an intrusive thing. And I feel there's something of that going on with Joshua. That Joshua thinks all of his intrusive thoughts from trauma are actually his true self. And they're not. They're just intrusive thoughts that come from his trauma and his struggles with mental illness, from in his, PTSD.
It's interesting because obviously we had the thing with Weissman, Snap unlocked his memories. So it's completely unpacked trauma that's been under lock and key for 6 years, just festering. So
Yeah.
he has not dealt with it anyway because he didn't know what it was.
Yeah, only parts of it he remembered. Like,
so I'm looking forward to second chapter remakes, DLC story expansion where Josh goes to therapy and kind of unpacks all this shit.
you need to decide which character is the best therapist, because like, of the options, Father Divine actually.
Father Divine makes sense, yeah.
Father Divine could tell Joshua was dealing with trauma when Joshua couldn't remember the trauma. In the first game at the beginning, he was like, I know you're struggling with something dark, Joshua, but you can still stay in the light. You don't have to let it drag you down or whatever.
Try this new thing, Josh. Mindful meditation. It's really going to help.
Yeah.
In any case, we don't have time to unpack Josh's trauma right this second in the throne room.
We don't. Because the whole party shows up.
Because after this lovely interaction between Alicia and Josh, yes, the whole party rocks up, including Kevin.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that Kevin could have played into his, like, roguish bad boy thing and tried to, like, rile Josh up a little bit about his relationship with Estelle, but he doesn't. He's just like, oh, he's back, and he's just like, ugh, more handsome than I thought.
Yeah, it's cute. And then he does say, and I think this is quite sweet, where he they say hi, like, introduce, like, we both know who the other is, but, like, here's our official hi, how are ya? And then he goes over and whispers to Joshua, don't leave your girlfriend in the lurch like that again, eh? Hey, he's Canadian. Otherwise, some of us will take that as a cue she's single again. And, like, I don't actually get the impression he's trying to, like, make a play for Estelle. I think it's more him trying to keep it light while being like, do not do that to this girl again.
Yeah.
Do not fuck her up like that again. Like, he's making it jokey, but I don't think that's the point. I think the point is, don't fuck up again.
Yeah, she loves you so much and she's been so obsessed with you for 6 chapters. Like,
yeah.
Don't do it again.
Yeah. I saw this girl crash out in the prologue. Do not do that again.
Yeah, but then Estelle makes a really bold claim that I had to do a double take on. She catches them whispering to each other, and she's like, what are you talking about? If it's something dirty, I can show you the girl thing we do with a stick in response.
Estelle, you don't understand what that sounds like. My God, girl.
I'm glad you got back together with your boy and you guys can finally, like, start being in a relationship that the games don't know how to talk about for the next 12 titles. But, come on, like... You don't need to go to, like, 2,000 miles an hour immediately. You could just be like, ugh.
I mean, she clearly thinks that she's mean, like, I'll whack you with the stick. But it sounds like she's talking about a dildo. Like, come on.
It sure do.
The girl thing we do with a stick. Like, yes, this is how we take care of ourselves. This is how girls take care of business. We got a nice stick.
Girls get shit done.
But then somebody else joins. Hopefully he did not hear Estelle talking about what she likes to do with sticks, because it's her father who walks in.
Papa
walks in, and Joshua, interestingly, says Cassius with ... Doesn't call him dad.
Yeah, I did notice that as well, yeah.
Cassius walks in, and he's like, I talked to you on the phone last night, but I haven't seen you in person, and I had to come and do my duty as a father. Josh was like, I'm sorry for making you worry, and Cassius is like, I know that oath that you made, that you kept saying you'd leave if you put us in danger. I'm as much to blame as you are, but you don't need to apologize, but I must do my duty. And then he slaps Joshua.
Yeah, he agates him.
Though it was a much softer looking slap even than the agate one, which a little concerning that Cassius slapped an 11-year-old girl harder than Cassius slapped a 17-year-old assassin. But here's the thing. I do not endorse slapping your children. But something about what the writing that comes after I find really interesting. Because everyone is, like, shocked by this, except Joshua, who smiles. And he's like, it's okay. That's what you're supposed to do to a runaway son, right? And Cassius says, yeah, exactly. And there's something about, like, the idea that this little slap... I wonder if there's a Japanese context to this, or if it's just, like, Liberlian world building. But it's, like, Cassius symbolically being like, you are my son. You're not just someone. You will recognize this as a gesture meaning that I see you as my son 100%. And so that's why I'm slapping you. Not because I actually want to hit you, but because I need to do the thing that represents and reaffirms to you. And after this, Joshua goes back to calling him dad. It's like after this act of violence that reaffirms to Joshua that he is as much Cassius' son as he would be if he was biologically his. And so I'm like, I don't endorse slapping your child.
But it works.
It works. But clearly Cassius isn't doing it because he wants to physically, like, discipline or whatever. He's doing it as a way to communicate that you're my son. And it works for Joshua. And then he goes back to calling him dad.
I really like the little speech that Cassius gives here as well. he sort of says, no man stands alone, even if he believes he does. He is affected by those around him. And conversely, he affects those around him simply through the act of living. Even without meaning to, we form relationships. And in time, those relationships form into bonds. A bond once formed never breaks. And that kind of goes further into explaining why Cassius was so frustrated by Alan's thought process and behavior at the end of first chapter. Because believing one guy is the answer is the antithesis to that one guy's belief system.
Well, this is also the thesis of Trails, right? Like, I've been saying it, and it's about everybody's life is important and equally, full and valid. But this is the flip side of the same thing, which is just by existing, you are affecting other people. And it's not just a thesis here, right? Cold Steel, as you know, Matt, Cold Steel, this is another thesis that's impacted a lot. The bonds you forge with people, you can't just, no man is an island. Nobody can just be alone.
Yeah.
Daybreak, this is another theme that they're really hitting on. This even comes up at certain points in Crossspell. This is, along with this idea that, everybody is just as fully formed as a person as you, regardless of whether you know that. It's that the ways, just by existing, we form relationships with other people. We have an effect on other people's lives. You can't, think of yourself as some, independent individualist who's not part of a wider community. You are, whether you want to or not, you are part of this larger network, and you're affecting people and they're affecting you.
Yeah, it's so interesting because at the end of first chapter, it's just you're not listening. Even though I am not in the army anymore, being in the army, I had an effect on it. It had an effect on me. I left. That effect didn't go away. It's not like the Cassius Bryce era of effect fades when I leave the room.
I was still your mentor, even when I was not there in the job anymore.
Yeah. And you have grown from knowing me, I have grown from knowing you, blah, 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 blah. But you're not getting any of this. You heard nothing. You learnt nothing. And then Alan just ignores that it happened. But yeah, I just love that we get kind of this second beat, because it kind of made sense in the moment in first chapter, but having time to kind of express it more clearly and kind of drill that lesson into someone instead of just telling him, you didn't get it, Alan, it kind of rounds out his opinion. And I kind of like the idea. He's this sweet, calm guy, but inside he's just you didn't fucking learn anything. I'm broadcasting kindness, you little fuck. Why aren't you getting it? I just like filling in the gaps in the stories.
Yeah. I was having a little moment while I was playing through this part. I was part of the reason the writing in this game is so good is there is a thematic tightness and consistency. All parts of this game are driven by the thematic intention of this game. It knows what it wants to say.
Yeah.
And that's going on in these character relationships, and that's going on in the NPC stuff, and that's going on even in the mechanics, right? The ways the parties work, the way you really need to think about how the party members are playing off of each other and complementing each other. You can't just have one person be I'm going to destroy everything, hit the delete button, and everyone's just there in the background. You need to have a party that complements each other. Everything about this game knows what it wants to say, and it has this thematic cohesion, and I really love that. And this is such a good example of that.
Yeah. Of
the writing that makes it why it feels so good, because it's everything in the game leads you to this thesis. And so feeling it delivered feels so earned and valid, because it's not just some wise words dropped out of nowhere. It's yes, this is what the game has been telling me in a myriad of different ways the whole time.
I'm having such a moment last night of loving on this series, because I was playing Remake. I'm in final chapter. I was doing the Urbe Royal Villa invasion. It's just the scene when Shara and Olivier bust in. They've really upped the drama in it. You get this cool slow-mo shot of Olivier shooting the gun out of a soldier's hands.
Ooh, I love that.
Shara gets to use one of her crafts in the world and smash a guy against a wall.
Yeah.
And it's just everyone's interacting and it looks so good. Oh, it's such a good series. Even stuff I was at the top of Grancel Castle and looking out over the city, and actually noticed that you could see that the whole harbour district is modelled in FC, because you can see it, including the end point of the wharfs where you fought the gospel tank. And
yeah,
I was just they're getting ready.
Oh, that's
and
good.
It's all there.
Then, after Cassius confirms that Joshua understands the power of bonds, he hugs him, which feels so good to see that hug. And he says, Joshua, you damn fool of a son of mine, welcome home. And Joshua says, Cassius, ... dad.
Oh.
And this is the moment, this is the one reason I can't fully commit to the the Joshua and Estelle thing would be so much better if Joshua didn't call Cassius dad, because you get to this moment and you're like, I want Joshua to call him dad.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a version of this where he doesn't call him dad in the first game, and then it's only after this that he finally says dad, and you can even have that as a thing that represents that, like, he never felt fully part of the family in the first game, but now he understands and believes that he's fully part of it. Like, you could write it that way, and I think that would work. But I think Joshua has to, at least at this point, start calling him dad.
Yeah.
Even though him calling Cassius dad makes the Joshua Estelle thing weirder, this moment means so much to me, and I think it's beautiful, and I don't want to not have Joshua really truly believe that Cassius is his dad and loves him as his son.
Yeah.
So it's just awkward that we have to live with this. We have to sit in this uncomfortable space.
I don't know if it's just I wasn't noticing it because I didn't know this moment was coming. Does he call Cassius throughout the game? But in SC...
In SC, he almost never mentions him. I think he might call him the Divine Blade or Cassius Bright, like full name. But he's also not talking to people he knows, right? So he's not like...
Yeah.
He might not mention them at all. But if he does, it wouldn't stand out as much because he's talking to people who might not know Cassius's dad anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe a note they could hit a few more times in the remake. Not make a big deal of it, but just have him say Cassius rather than dad whenever possible.
Yeah.
Just to help this moment hit home. Because it hits home here already.
It already is, but then to build it, yeah.
If it had had that build up, it had kind of, like, even subconsciously, it would hit harder. Mm-hmm. But in any case, we don't have time to feel good about it because in comes Julia Schwartz with news that bad shit's going down literally everywhere.
We've got like a list. There's a bunch of archaisms, or they're like, we're pretty sure it's archaisms based on, like, I'm glad Julia at least is fast enough to pick up that, like, she's been introduced to the concept of archaisms. She's like, yes, I could identify that these are probably archaisms. You don't have people running around being like, metal bugs. Like, she's on top of it. So probably archaisms. They're coming near every major city. The top of every tower has been engulfed in this weird dark bubble. Airships shut down if they try to approach. Ground scouts get destroyed if they go by foot. Clearly, it's an enforcer if they're taking out these scouts. Joshua is like, Dad, send me, because normal troops don't stand a chance. Send me against the enforcers. And Estella's like, did you forget the beach scene, brother? Like, not brother, sorry. I shouldn't have said it like that. I was saying that in, like, an ironic way, but then... Bro. Dude, did you forget the beach scene? Like, what happened to that whole, like, we'll protect each other thing? Don't try to go alone. The rest of the party's like, yeah, don't try to go alone. We want to go too. Shara and Jin are both like, yeah, we have personal beef with enforcers just like you do. And Cassie's like, okay, all bracers go. And then you get this interesting bit where Chloe asks Alicia, can we use the Arseille for this? And Alicia's like, yes, of course. I was thinking of offering that myself, even though everyone else is surprised that she's asked for it. And Alicia's like, does this mean you're ready? And Chloe said, no, but when I return the ship to you, I will have an answer.
Hey, Chloe.
And we know what this is about.
Yeah.
They're being so, like, pretending to be sly about it, but we know this is about whether she wants to be heir. Whether she wants to officially...
Yeah, do you want to take the throne?
And she says, I can't answer yet. Once we've come back with this airship from the whole towers thing, I will tell you if I'm going to be the next queen of the country.
And I really appreciate that Alicia is not, like, gating the use of Arseille on a yes. It's just like, you don't have to agree to be the heir to get to use the airship. You just need to have conviction about your choice. Yeah. And that's what I want from you. And
she's like, the fact that you have conviction enough to say, grandmother, can we use the wings of hope of Liberl, the top airship in the fleet? Like, there's an authority to that. That is a crown princess thing to do, right? It's a crown princess thing to be like, I request use of the top airship in the entire nation. And so Alicia's like, you are actually a crown princess. Does this mean you want to be officially crown princess? She's like, I will get back to you in T-minus 5 hours or whatever.
Yeah, she's like, this is clearly Claudia behavior, not Chloe behavior, and I recognize the shift.
So anyway, we're all like, all right, we got business to do. We're off to go board the Arseille. But Olivier is not boarding the Arseille.
Yeah.
He's got to go back to Erebonia, he says. He's like, yeah, I was supposed to go back a while ago. Joshua almost asked him something here. Joshua was like, Olivier, you... Never mind.
Yeah, I love Joshua knowing everything and not wanting to ask, but... there's no clear indication what he would ask about story-wise. I do like Kevin's line when they're seeing off Olivier, though. He's just like, didn't know you long, but it was good times. See ya. Yeah. Because legally speaking, you're only allowed to have one extremely horny man in a white jacket in your party at any given time. So we had to trade off Olivier for Kevin.
Either Olivier's got to be gone as long as Kevin's here, or one of them needs an outfit change.
Yeah. We simply must have only one horny white-coated man with a secret.
Exactly. Now, as the airship leaves, Olivier says to himself, and so ends the moratorium I placed upon myself. No, I may yet have one chance left, perhaps. And then we hear a wait, and Dorothy and Dort, and Niall run by. They wanted to get on the airship. They're pissed.
Late again.
And I was like, quick, if you take a picture now, we can at least get a good shot. And Olivia's like, doesn't really engage. He just kind of looks at them like, oh, you too. Like, he's kind of entertained, like, bemused, but, like, you know, he's fond. And then walks off of the, like, landing deck area to Mueller. Mueller's waiting there.
He pulls a random while they're like...
Yeah, just like walks off.
Framing up a departing shot of the airship, which also, it's also the fastest airship in the world, so how quickly is she going to have to swing that camera up to get anything while we race off to save the world?
Maybe the zoom's really good.
But yeah, I love that Olivier just kind of saunters off screen, very Ren style, while they're busy.
Yep. But unlike Ren, we follow where he goes. And where he goes is to Mueller, his boyfriend. And Mueller says, you've said your goodbyes, like, very seriously. And Olivia goes, such as they were to make, yes. And they have this weird conversation that, like, Mueller made arrangements with his uncle. Apparently Chancellor Osborne approves of the idea, thinks it's well-timed. We've heard about Chancellor Osborne in a few chapters past. Olivier comments something about, like, Osborne is the type that Liberalians might like, which is strange because everything we've heard about Osborne so far is that, like, he's a warmonger.
Yeah.
And then he says it's going to be a grand processional. And Mueller just sighs and goes, you have the nastiest hobbies. And, like, we don't have context for what he's referring to yet, but I just love that line from Mueller to Olivier in general. You have the nastiest hobbies. Like, you would know Mueller. I
mean, it's true. Also, Olivier says something about how the next time he meets the party, they might be enemies. And I was just like, ooh.
Oh, yes, I have that. He looks back and says in parentheses, so he's not even saying this to Mueller, just to himself. And so, when next we meet, we shall be foes. Do not lose to the likes of the society, my erstwhile Liberalian allies. And then that's the end of the scene. It's exciting. So much is happening. Yeah. And the music is really epic, this whole section. We get to talk about where we're going to go first, which is, like, which tower.
Yes.
And basically, we're like, do we have any intel on what Enforcer might be where? And they're like, well, a weirdo in a mask is at Esmelas. And we're like, okay, we know who that is. Which gives us a leg up over anyone else. The fact that we know who will be fighting there, so we'll start there.
I was really hoping for a line in this moment where Estelle would just be like, do we have to do that one?
I think she just wants a chance to beat him up.
Yeah, I was just petrified that I would get to Esmelas Tower and there would be like a trail of notes stuck through it that I would have to fucking solve to go fight him. Blue Blanc, we've had enough quizzes. But yeah, so that's our first goal. Apparently, because we can't fly right up to them, because this field that's developed around the top of them seems to be killing airships, what we're going to have to do is get dropped off nearby and then run up to the tower themselves. So they're going to achieve that by just lowering the elevator from the cargo bay.
While they hover.
And kind of hovering over the ground so we can hop off at the bottom.
Which is quite funny. We also get a view of, like, what it looks like on the top of the towers, and it's just, like, a giant black ball with weird purple symbols around it. Like, it's like a Pokemon ball.
Yeah.
Covering the top of the tower. Estelle's like, what the heck? And she does say heck. But yeah, we get to explore the Arseille, which we've gotten to do before, but we get to do it again, which is always exciting.
Now we've got it, like, stocked up with functionality because it's our sort of temporary home base. So you can go into the workshop and work on your augment stuff. You can shop in the cafeteria for food or items.
Yeah, Professor Russell is here, right? He's on board. He's like, because he's going to research whatever the fuck's going on top of the towers. And he hints that he's got another project in the works, but he won't tell us yet.
Yeah.
But he's there, and he's got a team of engineers there. We can also go talk to all the party members. So who did you put in your party?
So for this first tower, I took Agate and Chloe along with Estelle and Joshua.
I did as well, but I also talked to Chloe before putting her in the, like, I took her out of the party to talk to her because I was curious if she'd have, I think I forgot to do that with Agate, but I did do that with Chloe to see what she'd say on board. She was on the deck.
Yeah, I did a little bit of run around. I didn't really check in with the party. I was just excited to explore and see all the new people and stuff. Also, there's more soldiers who salute you now.
There are, I noticed that. There's like 3 or 4 who do that. It was exciting.
Yeah, all of the ones who are standing in doorways and stuff.
Yeah.
They do the little salute as you walk up. It's so fucking cute.
I love that they put that detail in. It's like a little show of their love for this game that they bothered to animate that.
I like to think of this like an expansion purposely. Like in the first one, that was probably like a private or like a low-ranking ensign or something who was saluting us.
Or someone who's just like, I don't know who you are, so I'll salute you in case.
And now that we're officially using the Arseille.
And now like more people are going to salute us because more people know who we are and are like, oh, we respect you.
Yeah, we're Chloe's friends, so we're important.
So I did talk to the party, a few people.
Mhm.
So the things that are interesting are, I talked to Shira, and she reminisces on our first mission in Esmelas Tower, which was quite nice. She's like, yeah, we talked to some mission, and then Josh was like, yeah, and Dad stole the spotlight at the end, as usual. And it was just cute, it was like reflecting on how far we've all come.
Oh, nice.
I talked to Chloe. Chloe's the only party member who, if you talk to her, it doesn't first give you the menu of like talk or change party. It immediately just converses the firof time.
Okay.
And she basically talks about how she's really stressed about this decision that she has to make. And she doesn't say what it is, but like we all kind of know.
Yeah.
There's also a really funny line we get where Estelle makes a passive-aggressive comment about what Joshua put her through, and Joshua goes, sigh, yes, I throw myself upon my blades in regret on the hour, every hour.
Oh, man, I should have gone around and talked to everyone. That's cute.
So we have Jin talks about how Olivier was a great drinking buddy, and everyone's like, yeah, it's interesting that you hung out, because you have like nothing in common, but you guys seem to be great drinking buddies, and Jin's like, yeah, it's true, we don't have much in common except our love of alcohol. And then he goes, people can enjoy seeking out things different from themselves after all. And I'm like, oh, they fucked. Like, I think this means Jin and Olivier were like casual fuck buddies.
I think, yeah, Olivier is capital B bisexual, and Jin is just like chill queer. So he's just like, hey, yeah, that sounds like fun.
Oh, for sure.
Let me redirect your chi, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing all these camaraderie bonds forming between the party members. It's why I love the just banter stuff in the remake, because it fills that out even more. Like, we get hints of it here. I love every time we sort of get character interactions, especially when it's between party members that hadn't previously, like Agate and Olivier for the first half of this game.
That was fun.
And I just want to see more of that, because seeing them sort of bounce off each other.
Oh, that's going to be fun in SC too, with those two.
Because, yeah, I kind of noticed we haven't really had a lot of like interplay with Kevin, with anyone but Estelle. We don't really know what his rapport is like. So I would love to see that expanded more, either through the rest of this game or in the remake, because Kevin's an interesting character, and I would love to know more about him, because who knows how long we're going to get to spend with him.
We'll see. The other great thing I noticed is, everyone notices, you'll discover that Faye, the goddess of the underground, is on board this ship, which is a delight. Also, Antoine's on the ship. He's on the ship, he just doesn't have anything to say yet, but he's in the factory room. I
was under the impression that he appears after the first dungeon, because I got a dialogue where they're like, oh, did someone let you on when we were at Grancel? But maybe that was just delayed because I checked him later. I don't know. But it was exciting to see Antoine. He loves to be on airships.
He is there before, because I have a screenshot of him, and Estelle says, well, it's always good to see my favorite kitty.
Oh, okay. That is the default line you get after this conversation that I had, so...
So I guess I got the rest and just didn't screenshot it.
Yeah, maybe got them in a different order or something. Who knows?
I don't know. Anyway, we go to Esmelas.
Yes!
And there's a private something there. I can't remember. He's one of the soldiers we, like, vaguely know.
Private Hines. He was,
Pat's dad?
From one of the gates. I think he was involved with the very first Fight the Army mission.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Anyway, he's like, thank goodness you're here, because shit's fucked up here.
Yeah.
My whole team got wiped out except me. And I got the impression the way he's talking that they weren't killed. They were just, like, knocked out.
Yeah.
I think he'd be freaked out more if they all died. And he's like, and the tower is fucking weird. And we're like, what do you mean? He's like, just go look, you'll see. And there's, like, a psychedelic portal over the entrance.
Yeah.
Wall of psychedelic light. And we're like, what? The what? We're like, well, I guess we'll just go in the tower and see what happens. We go in the tower, and it's obviously an alternate dimension. I know that they don't put it together yet, but, like, it's obviously an alternate dimension.
Yeah.
It's, what's it called in Pokemon Platinum? The something...
I didn't play that one.
Alright, there's, like, an alternate dimension you go into in one of the Pokemon games. It's, like, anti-gravity or something.
Oh, the Ultra Dimension from Sun and Moon?
It's also kind of like that, but no, this is more like the Giratina one. Distortion World.
Yeah. But yeah, they sort of decide to go through this field because Hines says that Blue Blanc went through it and he was fine. I don't like the effect that happens when they go through the portal.
It's so weird.
Because their sprites like shake really violently up and down and then kind of zoop up. It looks like it would hurt. I don't like it.
It's fucking weird.
But in any case, we go through and find ourselves in my favorite thing, an ambiguously other dimensional dungeon.
It's so good.
It's all green floors to kind of match Esmelas Tower with a space backdrop and all these floating sort of gold-coloured things like ornamentations. Also, there's writing all over the floor in orange that is the same as the writing that we saw in the sealed area that kind of looked like either patterns or writing, couldn't tell. So it's very clear that these are directly connected to the sealed area. I was a little bit disappointed, I will say, because when I first saw this as Esmelas, I saw green and yellow, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we're doing like opposing pairs of colors from the towers, because earth and air would be opposing elements. So I thought it was going to be green and yellow, and then Amberl Tower would be yellow with green, and then Carnelia and Sapphirl would be red and blue, respectively. It's not, which I feel was a missed opportunity, but it does make sense because the aureole is the shining golden ring, so all of the stuff would be over that. I just thought like it would have been fun to have kind of that color interplay between the towers to show that they are all interconnected a bit more. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, I think that would have been fun, actually. I like that. But as we go through, it's like a big old dungeon.
Yeah.
It's quite fun. It's twisty, but also easier to navigate than a lot of things.
Yes. I always have trouble with dungeon exploring, but these I actually found pretty... Okay, the first three I found pretty easy. Because it is just on this like blank backdrop, it's a lot easier for me to track the pathways. I really appreciated that because these dungeons get fucking huge. There's like... the guide I use has like the treasure chests numbered in order to kind of help guide you through the maps and everything, which I really like. The counts get up into the 20s and 30s in these dungeons. There are so many treasure chests.
There's so many treasure chests. There's some good ones. There's some really good ones.
There are some good ones, yeah.
The most interesting thing I think that happens in these dungeons is these data crystals we find.
Yes.
We've got the first ones, and they're all heavily redacted.
Yeah.
Now, I am a master of heavily redacted text, so I'm going to translate these for us, if you would like.
And I have them too, so I will try and fill in any gaps that I can as well.
So only the first sentence of this is completely unredacted. And the title. The title is Concerning the Seal Mechanism 1 out of 4. My name is Celeste D. Auslacey, or however you pronounce that name. I am the designer of the seal mechanism. They don't entirely fit like the number of spaces. Some of them do perfectly, and some don't. But this is like what I think it is, because it's definitely seal mechanism. I know that.
It is kind of hard to do because it's not like a blocked character per letter, and it's not the same letters being blocked.
But sometimes it is, like it's weird. And the woman ultimately responsible for the sealing of the aureole, I have decided to leave behind a set or series or something of records for
all those to come
in case the second seal is activated and the aureole, which we sealed in another dimension, should something to return, maybe like threaten to return.
Yeah, I would say so.
If you who read this message seek to or wish to or something protect
to prevent the aureole's return.
Yeah. I hope or pray, I don't know which it is, this information will aid you. However, if you seek to restore the aureole, I beg you reconsider. The aureole's power is too great for we children of men to wield. When we used it, it something us to the darkest or lowest Gehenna. It brought us, or it
laid us low to the deepest Gehenna, maybe?
Or it led us to the lowest Gehenna. So that was the first one.
Yeah.
Interesting. We've heard that the aureole's power was too much for people.
Yeah.
And this is a first-hand account, it seems.
Yeah. I also will highlight that I really like that when you activate these data crystals, the way all the hologram screens come up, they kind of...
Yeah, it's so cool.
They open up like a 3-panel tableau. It reminded me of... in God of War Ragnarok, you'd find these story panels where you'd open them up. It's kind of the same design of a triple-paneled opening.
Yes, panel's a good word. Because it's almost like those, like room divider, like changing panels you see in like old-timey, like movies.
Do you mind if I try taking a run at the next one, see how I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so concerning the seal mechanism number 2, the purpose of the seals is to prevent any contact between the aureole and humanity, thus ensuring humanity's survival?
I'm thinking that, yeah. Safety or survival, one of them.
I feel the need to clarify, the aureole itself does not seek to control or harm humans, or humanity. The...
Disaster, maybe?
The disaster that, it's not befell, but it's like happened.
Visited
Visited us was our fault alone. Do not something the mercy of do not
Maybe it's doubt.
oh do not doubt the mercy of our great goddess in giving this gift to us. If it is we who are unequal to such a gift.
Yeah, which ties into the whole thing we hear about gifts to the goddess given too early, which is what they call artifacts, but I think these are the tests that humanity failed. Do you want to do the next one, or do you want me to try?
No, let's trade off. This is fun.
All right, it is. In truth, the construction and implementation of the seal goes directly against the wish of the people and our democratic ideals. Even among our group, some believed we should try to find a way to use the Oriole's power.
Eventually?
I'm thinking equally or effectively. Effectively,
yeah, that makes sense.
However, once it obtained autonomy, that's fucking scary. The Oriole began to control our sanity, or maybe society, and our lives drastically. It did not just concern itself with our physical well-being. It considered our
mental
well-being to be a top priority as well. All right.
Wow, so the Oriole's already taking better care of our people than most governments by considering mental health. Love that for us.
Yes, unless it goes real bad, which it might.
All right, so number 4, to provide an example, the Oriole facilitated the creation of virtual realities intended to produce euphoria in participants. It even altered brain chemistry to achieve this.
Oh my god, SSRIs from the Oriole.
It was no different than taking a powerful something stimulant.
Euphoric, I'm thinking.
Powerful euphoric stimulant and hallucinogen at the same time. Worse still, there are no side effects. No physical ones, at least.
Ooh.
Such boons have brought humanity's very continued existence into question. The effects already begin to tell upon our citizenry, and we have precious little time left to us. As a result, we few have overcome our difficulties... differences to undertake the sealing. The terrible future we had predicted, should a situation like this ever arise. Look, this is all guesswork.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're getting the message of it at the very least.
And this is a contingency of something that they had planned in case it ever got too bad. In case the Oriole's power ever got out of control. They had, like, a contingency plan. And they're like, we've decided to go ahead with that contingency plan. That makes sense.
Right.
So, maybe all the drugs the Oriole was pumping into people's brains meant no one could get it up and reproduction was impossible. No, I don't think that's quite what they're going for, but I had to share.
Is Trails in the Sky second chapter predicting that microdosing is going to end society?
Maybe so. I mean, I guess if everyone's like in a virtual, maybe it's AI psychosis. They're in virtual realities. They're having euphoric hallucinations. Like, maybe this is like AI psychosis, sort of.
Everyone's in VR doing weed gummies, yeah.
And we get to the roof after that, pretty much.
I will highlight, just before we get to the roof, though, there was one monster chest that I opened, and you know what I found inside it? A fucking photon judge.
I know! I thought of you when I saw this. We were better equipped in this game than we ever were in last game for it.
Yeah.
Because Joshua has great crafts.
I will admit, this whole dungeon, because it's all archaisms in here, they do go down a lot easier than they used to in the sealed area. Because we're more powerful, because we have a better range of abilities, and everything's upgraded to level 2 or true abilities, it is easier. But the Photon Judge, fuck that guy. Also, I did notice the enemies in each tower are not just color-coded to the color of the tower, but they have the same suffix letter as well.
Yeah, they have a different letter.
So the Esmelas Tower one has J, so I'm saying Jade.
Yes.
And I wrote down the rest as I went along, so I'll just sort of highlight.
There's a C?
Yeah, so C for Crimson.
Carnelia.
Then...
I think it was A for Amber. I remember that because I was trying to get a Shining Palm from those.
Yes, and then I believe it is B for Blue in Sapphirl Tower. So they are color-coded, just not the same. Which makes me wonder, maybe because the towers got renamed in the remakes, if those letters will align when that comes along. But in any case, after dealing with that fucking Photon Judge, I did eventually make it to the end of the dungeon. You get your healing point to know that you're about to go into the fight. And then walk through the teleporter, because this dungeon is full of teleporters, a thing that we have not had in Trails dungeons to date.
We haven't.
But God, it is such a JRPG classic to have a teleporting dungeon.
It is.
We're here, baby.
We're here, baby. And we get to the roof now, and the roof looks the same way it always has, which stands out on account of the whole rest of the tower. We have Blue Blanc waiting there. And Estella's so fucking done with him. He's like, yeah, you've risen to my challenge. I shouldn't be surprised that you made it up here so quickly when you rose to all my challenges. And Estella's like, those challenges are the whole reason I don't even want to bother talking to you anymore. So Estella's in the same boat as us.
Yeah.
He has an exchange with Joshua, right? Where he's like, it's been a while since I've seen you. Joshua says he's surprised that Bleu Blanc would support Weissman's plan. Bleu Blanc kind of doesn't address this directly, but he's like, Liberl has a strange kind of dignity. I want to see what the people rise to when faced with disaster, which is such a selfish way of looking at the world, right? That he's like, it's beautiful how dignified they are. I want to see that dignity. You know, I like heartwarming stories and moments of suffering, so I'm going to create moments of suffering to get those heartwarming stories. It's like that kind of logic, right?
All right, Blueby.
He also says some of his weird shit to Chloe, that he's like, oh, have you come because you love me back? And she's like, no. And she's like, I don't even know if I'm good enough to be queen. Which is, like, not the response I think you need to give to Bleu Blanc. Like, don't, just shut him down, baby girl.
Yeah.
Bleu Blanc's like, oh, yes, I'm so hot for the fact that you're too good for me. He's very weird.
A weird guy.
And we fight him. He's got some puppet things.
Yeah, he summons an enemy type that I hated in Cold Steel.
I hate them.
What are they called? The Jokers or the Clown?
Or Bouncing Clowns.
Bouncing Clowns.
Fucking hate them.
For reference, the entire time their static animation when they're just sort of in between moves is a John Cena impression, because they sit there waving their hands in front of their faces. But we can see them and we can defeat them.
Yes.
Blue Blanc does have one really cool move. I don't know if it's his S-Craft or just a cool move he has, but he basically sealed Estelle in a coffin.
Yeah.
Turned his staff into a big sword, and then threw it and stabbed through the coffin with a bunch of cool death stuff going on in the background.
Yes, it is very cool.
And to be a real pain in the ass, he also summons a third bouncing clown right near the end of the fight that you have to take down.
And he clones himself.
And he clones himself.
But the clones are much easier to take down than the clones have much less health. He wasn't too hard, but he was like, it was a decent boss fight. Like, it was not overly hard, but it also wasn't, like, a total pushover.
He wasn't a big challenge. It was more just an endurance thing. I was a little annoyed that you don't win the fight when you beat him. You still got to take down all the clowns.
Right, me too, because I took him down first, and I was like, great. And then I was like, what? No. Why are you still here?
Yeah, but eventually we knock him down enough to end the fight, and yeah, he says he's going to get serious now. He's amping up for a Phase 2 boss fight. When all of a sudden, behind him, the gospel attached to the doohickey goes ka-choof.
Runs out of battery.
And the cool holographic screen things all vanish. And then suddenly the big darkness bubble around the top of the tower just goes...
Playtime's over. He's like, all right, gotta go, bye. Teleports away.
He's doing his big speeches like, when next we meet, I shall take the full measure of your radiance.
Right, yes.
And then he teleports away, and I noticed that the now assumably dead gospel, the beta, is still attached to the doohickey. It's sitting there. They finish up the scene and we say we're going back to the Arseille with no one actually going up to the doohickey and taking it. So I have in my notes like, are we fucking taking it? And then the next scene we're in the conference room of the Arseille and it's sitting there on the table. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we did.
That's that then.
So on the Arseille, we're in the conference room, we're debriefing with Julia and Russell to let them know what we found in the weird altered space, as the game refers to them.
Yep.
The area inside the tower that's all warped and crazy.
We're like, shit was funky.
We brought the gospel along and we tell Russell about the data quartz as well. How they're sort of heavily corrupted or redacted or something. He's going to slot those into the Capel and get it to decode them.
Yep.
At which point I was like, God damn it. Because I'd been taking screenshots of all of these, planning on doing this, like decoding them live on the podcast. It sounds like you'll probably have access to these decoded later on in the game.
Maybe in Chapter 8.
We ask what's next. Julia says the latest update is that a guy in a suit and sunglasses has been spotted at Carnelia Tower.
And there's only one person in the country with sunglasses.
Exactly. So we know that it's Walter, the dire wolf. Jin insists on coming along because he wants to have his showdown.
And then we cut to what's going on meanwhile elsewhere.
We get a little cut to the Royal Army out on the road.
Fighting a bunch of archaisms.
With portable cannons, howitzers. They've just got howitzer cannons. The same ones that Julia pulled off the Arseille, it looks like, to fight the gospel tank back on the piers. They have these mech-style archaisms coming on. They look like full mech suits like out of Alien or something.
Yeah, but there's no people in them. They're clearly like piloted automatically or remotely. But they would definitely be intimidating to take on.
They're huge. They're like twice the height of a person, yeah.
Especially when they don't really seem bothered by the howitzers. Like, they get shut up and, like, they just, like, keep walking.
Howitzer missile, big deal. not working. Scary.
Yeah, we do get kind of confirmation that earlier in this chapter by the fact that we're like, oh, the army couldn't take the towers. I guess we send the bracers in that, like, the regular army person is not as strong as the standard bracer necessarily. That's kind of the implication, like, which has kind of been confirmed, but it's just interesting to hear that again, that, like, yes, we are more elite in combat than a standard army member.
Yeah, howitzer missiles can't affect this situation, but a girl with a stick and a tall guy who punches can, because that's the power of a bracer.
We learned something about ordnance as well when we're walking around the Arseille after this, because as we head down onto the floor that the workshop's on, Professor Russell comes out and he's like, guess what? I've decoded the things. And we're like, really? And he's like, okay, no, but I have found out how to make level 3 ordnance slots, because I found out that there are ancient ordnance in the thing can be compatible with your modern things if we do a little chippity-doo-dah to your thing, and I've taught Mechanic Paint how to do it, so now you can have a level 3 thing. That way, in case you manage to perhaps find a level 3, a super high level ancient quartz, conveniently, just in time, I figured out how to let you use it. And your EP will go super high.
Yeah, because we do find the first one
in a Carnelia Tower.
Oh, it's not till Carnelia, so we get 2 somewhere along the way?
I think we only got 3. Okay. I don't think we got a wind one yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's nice to know that there's a further upgrade level available to us, because these super gems, which we start getting, as far as I know, there's only 4: Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald, and...
Did we get one in Esmelas and I just didn't notice? Oops, or missed it somehow?
I'll have to check my ordnance. I know that I only had 2, maybe 3 assigned in my, like, quartz guide, so we may not have the 4th one just yet.
I know I got one in the next 3 towers, but I can't remember if I got one in Esmelas. Let me see.
Yeah, we for sure have the Ruby and Sapphire. I don't know about the rest, but those are the 2 that I got told to use. Yeah, but in this last bit of this cutaway, as we see Kilika in the Zeiss branch confirming plans for Zeiss's defense against the archaisms, and then she says that she has work to do, seemingly in reference to Walter being the one at the tower. Because as we know, Jin, Kilika, and Walter all came from the same dojo studying under Kilika's dad.
Well, it sounds like she's on the phone with Jin, and that Jin is telling her, yeah, I'm off to the next tower. And then, because when he hangs up, she's like, does he really think I don't know? Like, he's really dumb if he thinks I don't know. Like, he doesn't tell her that it's Walter, and she's like, I know it's Walter. I have work to do now. So we get that little hint.
So yeah, this is the moment at which I at least noticed that Antoine was on the ship. Apparently I just completely glossed over him being there prior to the first tower. But you find him in the workshop along with Russell and Tita and everyone. When you first speak to him, he says, Nyago, which is, it's been a while, how have you been?
He remembers us.
So it's nice to see that he remembers us.
After fathering 3 kittens and then abandoning them to Roland, remember the one kitten that we found?
Deadbeat dad.
The deadbeat dad, Antoine.
But yeah, I think Estelle asks if someone from the factory brought him on board when they were getting the Arseille ready. And he says, Meow, what's wrong? And Joshua asks, why is it that we always meet you when our lives are on the line?
I love that.
And then, Estelle says, it's always good to see my favorite kitty. He says, Nya-o, which is so we meet again, fleshy thing.
She is.
Yeah, and then after that he just says, what's wrong again?
Like, what's wrong with me being here? I should be here.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong? I always come on airships.
I'm allowed to be here. I don't know why you think I'm not supposed to be here. The world is my oyster and I can be where I want.
Exactly. I also did a quick check-in with Russell while I was there. He said that, he's just put the data crystals into the Capel to get him to start sort of cooking.
Oh, yeah. The first time you talk to him, it's like a little cutscene thing where like, the camera focuses and he's like, oh, great, I'll take the data crystals from you.
It happens each time. You can sort of get that little cutscene each time you drop off more crystals, because there are 4 in each dungeon. Joshua also asks him how long it's going to take to decode these ancient manuscripts that we have no point of reference for. And Russell says, at worst, a couple of days. So it's really not that big of a challenge.
I mean, given that we just did it live, like, while reading it for the first time, like...
And we just did it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's taking them as long as it is, honestly.
But after that was about all I had for the airship. So yeah, it was time to head to Carnelia. So I took Jin, obviously, and then Shara as well.
Yes,
How about
I
you?
did too, because I also checked the guide, because I was like, I'm not I'm not dealing with this.
It's nice to be mixing up the party composition so often, but it's a lot of balls in the air to kind of plan for who does what in which composition, so I appreciate the backup. Also stuff just like the guide says, here's some recommended accessories specifically for this setup where applicable. It's not always like, always equip this equipment, but it's like, hey, you're going to need like something that prevents poison in the next area or whatever. Very considerate in that fashion. But we arrive at Carnelia Tower.
It's also got a psychedelic barrier.
And I think this was the one that had the highest count of chests out of all the dungeons at 35.
Probably. It had so many. Including the yin yang quartz that we've been missing the whole fucking game.
Oh my god, I was so excited.
We finally get one right near the end. It's like chest 32, I think, because I was looking at the map.
You want to know the craziest thing? I had the complete setup for all the quartz except for the yin yang quartz, which I just swapped out with something else.
I've used the heal quartz, I think.
And one of the other party members has the scent quartz, which is the one that draws enemies to you. So the entire dungeon, I had the enemies sort of beelining for me constantly, which is good because I wasn't getting like surprise attacks. But then when I got the yin yang and realized that's the one that puts on haze as well, which overrides scent, the rest of the dungeons became so much easier when the enemies are not just like barrel diving at you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. No, I always put haze on someone except in a boss fight. I would just swap something out that I didn't want because I needed to put haze on it. But I'm so glad when I got yin yang and I didn't need to waste a slot on haze. I did have a few chest messages I wanted to shout out in Carnelia before we get to decoding.
Oh, yeah.
One, I just enjoyed. You have returned. The pact is sealed. Your firstborn child is mine.
Nice. I did have a couple that I grabbed in here. I think it was like the third dungeon. I don't think I took any. First one for Carnelia Tower was, as you crack the lid of the chest, you hear a sound like the collective wailing of editors. You let the lid drop, sealing the sound away forever. Yeah. As we go through these dungeons, the scary, sad messages get scarier and sadder.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one that felt like a personal attack was, I don't think there's an open every chest in the game trophy, but even if there were, you've already opened this one. How fucking dare you?
How fucking dare you?
How dare you bring up the trophy that in every goddamn Trails game I somehow miss one or two chests, completely without meaning to. Mean-spirited, cruel.
I also enjoyed, no, give it back, that was my spleen!
Oh, yeah, that one, creepy. I think I saw that one in a later dungeon.
Also, you open the chest to find a message scrawled in blood along the underside of the lid. Whoever took my stuff will pay, in all caps. Huh. But now...
let's get to some data crystal decoding.
Do you want to lead off this one since I led off the last one?
Yeah, sure, I'll do the first one. These are the notes for the Lakeside Underground Facility. Note number 1 says, in order to make the seal mechanism into a reality, we needed both enormous amounts of energy and massive facilities. We, to something, first thought of using the aureole itself.
I'm thinking it's about the energy, to something to obtain the energy or to something the energy. I'm guessing.
So we need to create the energy. First thought of using the aureole itself. The aureole responds to humanity's wishes and gives its boon. In other words, in wishing, we thought that perhaps we could pull the needed amount of energy from the aureole. However, it's getting really hard now. However, something...
like that did not come to pass?
Yeah, this is also weird because this one actually has the correct number of blocks for the number of letters.
Yeah, it's really weird how some do and some don't.
Oh, okay. However, that did not come to pass. Shortly after the aureole...
I think autonomy is the word after, so something got autonomy or gained?
Gained autonomy. It, something...
Turned?
Jesus, okay. It turned to simply bestowing its gifts regardless of the wishes of the people.
Autonomously or like one-sidedly or like unanimously, like maybe like it's giving its wishes regardless of what people are wishing for. It's not actually like listening to the wishes. It's just like, this is what I think is best for you.
They're really taking any context clues away to make figuring it out easy.
That's my guess. I could be wrong.
All right, number 2.
All right, 2 out of 4. We could not use maybe the power of the aureole, casting our
net beyond.
Maybe the city, because the aureole, they call it the floating city later in this chapter.
Yeah.
So casting our net or our eyes or something beyond the city, we sought after the power or the something sleeping.
The energy?
Yeah, the energy sleeping in the... oh, septium veins. The power sleeping in the septium veins that rest deep beneath the earth.
There you go.
And requested to something in these locations. So build something in these locations. Resources or get research, something.
Yeah, who knows? In those or 3 locations.
However, we were already under the watch of the Oriole. It seems the Oriole had come to the conclusion that its first priority was the something of the city, the contentment, maybe, of the city, and therefore the elimination of all something obstacles to that.
It looks like it should be that, but it's too many letters.
Yeah. And therefore the elimination of all potential obstacles to that. So, to deceive the Oriole, I'm guessing, we proceeded with the construction of these buildings under the guise of monitoring the septium veins. Got it. Yay!
Oh boy, they're really making it hard on this one.
Right?
Okay, no...
The second glass of wine is infecting my... I was way better on the first round of these. I shouldn't have refilled.
My organic fresh air is only making my brain work faster.
Huh.
All right, note number 3. The facility was built roughly something 100 arge.
That's such a bullshit one. Like, how do you know what number it's going to be? It's just 100.
Yeah. So the facility was built roughly X 100 arge beneath the...
Is this the thing under Grancel's castle?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because we might know how many arge it is if they told us how many arge under the earth it was.
Yeah, so beneath the something on the eastern side of Valeria Lake. According to our estimations, this was the location where the...
Septium veins, I think that's the way it looked the other.
The septium veins gathered most efficiently. The land beneath the city was a sprawling prize foot. I don't know.
Something forest. Like primal?
Primal forest? Yeah, that would make sense.
Like if it's not settled, it's just like a primal?
As it was untouched by human people, the construction had little effect on it. So, while avoiding the attention of the Oriole, collected all the somethingology. I'm thinking pathology, but that's not it.
Tech?
Collected all the technology we had and hurried to complete the underground facility.
Got it.
I'm gonna have a hell of a time editing this together.
Well, we can let some of our errors stay in. The people can know that we're human too.
Some of the errors are gonna have to stay in.
Yeah,
but
they
I'm
have
gonna
to.
speed that up as much as possible. All right, thank God. Our final note for Carnelia Tower.
While the construction of the underground facility was underway, we built additional structures on the fringes of the surface. The Annenberg, the big gate. The Annenberg, whose
Oh, yeah.
something wall, inner or outer wall, points ever toward
Yeah.
the Oriole, and the 4 device towers, I think they call them that
Yeah.
surround the Oriole. It all comes together. The Annenberg and the towers are all part of the sealing mechanism, like we had been hinted at.
Makes sense. Because, yeah, they say that Annenberg Wall is, like, super crazy ancient.
Yeah.
And they just kind of use it, and that's why they put the castle where it is.
And it's, like, impenetrable. Like, even the Erebonians could... Each system, I'm thinking each system of structures possessed tactical, maybe, or critical, something role in the plan, and were vital, or as vital, to the seal mechanism as the underground facility.
Yeah.
Woo, we got through Carnelia. Now we can go. Boss fight is easy next to this shit.
Oh, yeah, this fight is, like, surprisingly easy.
This is actually, like, the easiest fight. It's just a walk in the park.
Because Walter is just such a directly physical attacker, he doesn't really diversify, and he has... Does he have the wolves with him? Is that what he has?
I think, yeah, he has the big Blade Fang guys, or not Blade Fang, but whatever, the big dog, not dog.
Big dogs for the big dog, yeah.
Yeah.
I did grab one of his lines. They're talking back and forth between Jin and Walter about how, Walter could have been the best fighter ever at their school, but instead he got all murdery and mixed his style with other styles rather than saying purist. And Walter says, gotta diversify if you want to beat people to death with their own arms,
I could take Walter.
Yeah, so we go through this fight with Walter. It's pretty easy. Like, I just used a bunch of area S-crafts like Joshua's to wipe out the wolves as quickly as possible. and then Walter goes down fairly easy. He doesn't even have that much health. He's only got like 15,000.
Yeah, he's easy.
It's pretty quick to take him down. So the meat of the fight is actually after the fact, when you do get a one-on-one showdown between Walter and Jin in this like animated cutscene style that I love.
You get a really cool like intro to it, which is Jin's taunt so that I could never beat you as you are now, but also you could never beat me. Like, your style, there's a fundamental flaw in your style, and while I couldn't defeat you, you would also not be able to defeat me as you are now. I can defend against you. I don't know why exactly, but I don't know martial arts or whatever. Like, there's a flaw in your approach. You're a genius, but you lack a core principle, I think is what he says.
Yeah, like the purity of my singular fighting style is in a stalemate against like the diversity of your style. I love this little cutscene because they're like bouncing around, they're like trading blows and everything. There's also a reference to Walter's S-craft, because in his S-craft, he's like running circles around you. He does this cool thing where he sort of like hops sideways on his feet, like he's doing like a boxer's dodge. And he does that a couple of times in the fight with Jin in this little cutscene. Mm-hmm. He's like doing like little like strafing steps, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually they line up and they're like, all right, it's time to just do this. And they line up a big final punch at each other. They both miss. And then they hit the columns behind each other and knock them over simultaneously, which is sick as hell.
It is. Jin loses his cool. He's like, damn it, Walter. Like, you're so talented. How could you waste it by becoming evil? Basically.
Yeah.
And then Walter starts taunting him with this idea of like, you never really found out why our master died. He's like, well, if you beat me, I'll tell you. Either I'll kill you or I'll tell you why he died. And Jin's like, this life is worth that answer. And so they both power up their auras. And then all of a sudden they get stopped because a wild Kilika appears. And everyone's like, I'm sorry, did you just do this tower alone? Did you just do all that by yourself? Like, I'm sorry, bitch, what?
Yeah, they're like, Kilika just soloed Carnelia Tower.
Altered Carnelia Tower. Like, it would have been hard to solo the original Carnelia Tower. So Kilika is, like, at least level 100.
Clearly. She steps in here, and this whole cutscene, I have some thoughts about what it's about, and I don't think it's what the game is actually about, but it sure is what I think it's about.
I want to hear your thoughts. So wait, do we want to cover what is said and then what we interpret it? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Kilika says, I'm not here on behalf of the guild. I'm just here because I wanted to say something to someone who disappeared 6 years ago. Why did you never see me for who I am? And then just like something along the lines of, I don't know what father told you. Why would you think he would hold that against you? Walter seems confused. She's like, so he really didn't tell you. I thought so. Do you really think he would hold it against you? And then he's like, you disappearing without telling me was negligent at best. I love the way she says negligent at best. Like, that's such a like...
Yeah.
You're at least guilty of negligence, possibly worse. And then she says, I have no lingering attachment to someone who could not see me as myself. However you choose, I will deal with you as a member of the Bracer Guild, nothing more. And Walter says, Kilika, despite everything, I'm glad I got to see you again before the end. And Jin's like, the fuck are you talking about? What was Master gonna tell Walter that he didn't tell Walter? And then Walter is like, if you want to know why me and the old man fought to the death, defeat me next time. And then he jumps off. He doesn't do like Yida-porting. Instead he like jumps off and then like Metroidvania style like kicks off the side of the wall, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what happens. So what's the Matt interpretation of this? Interpretation.
All right. So, as we know in the later games, Kilika is voiced by a trans femme voice actress.
Yes.
And I have the personal headcanon that Kilika is a trans woman because that's just fun.
Yeah.
She's a big part of later games when the games also get more into gender and identity stuff as part of the storyline, which is why I'm sort of making this back connection. But yeah, so she says, she asks Walter, why did you never see me as I truly am? It's clear that they dated, or they were lovers. They were romantic in some capacity.
Yep.
When they're talking about why did you think Dad would hold that against you, Walter responds that it was his issue to resolve.
Oh, yeah.
And he says it was my problem to resolve. Kilika says, this isn't about Jin, this dispute. I have no lingering attachment to someone who wouldn't see me as myself.
Is Walter a transphobe?
And so my theory is that Kilika and Walter, while they were students, were dating pre-transition.
Oh,
and when Kilika cracked her egg and started transitioning, her dad was on board. Walter was having trouble with it, and that was part of the dispute that led to him leaving the school, because this is him sort of saying, like, I had to figure it out inside myself, how to sort of reconcile with, like, someone I dating changing gender. And that was what led to the dispute that led to the fight that led to the death of her dad. And she's just here to say, like, I'm half glad and half despairing at seeing you again.
I love that she uses that line.
But yeah, so that's my theory, that Walter ran away before they could resolve this kind of disconnect that happened when Kilika started transitioning, or like identifying as female. And it was just kind of left hanging. And that's why Kilika is like, okay, as part of my journey, I need to go and confront this person who did me wrong when I was becoming myself. And it's not about forgiveness or resolution. It's just about saying, like, you fucked up and it hurt me. You should know that.
I love Kilika. I love that. So Walter identified as a gay man and then had, like, a crisis when he realized that the person he had feelings for was a woman after all. And then was an asshole about it, because instead of being like, I just need to, like, process this internally, he took it out by being an asshole to Kilika and her dad.
Which is why it's nice then at the end of the conversation, Walter says, you know, Kilika, despite everything, I'm glad I got to see you again before the end. So it's kind of a hint that if that was a situation in the time he's been out murdering and learning how to fight a bunch of different ways, he was also processing this and he's like, I was shit back then. I am happy to see you.
And he doesn't misgenders her. And, like, obviously that's because, like, that's just not probably what Falcom's intention is. But in our canon, because, you know, art is in the eye of the beholders, our interpretations are valid. So in our interpretation, we've now reached a point where Walter doesn't misgender her, uses her chosen name, all that kind of stuff. So Walter has at least, like, progressed as a human being in this one regard, even though he's clearly regressed in many others.
There was a bit at the end of the conversation as they're wrapping up, like Kilika's, said her thing about how we'll never meet again. And Walter's like, oh, you can't even be sweet now at the end, still cold as ice. And she says, well, as I recall, that's what you fell for.
Yeah.
So once upon a time, Kilika was just a bitchy little twink before she became her true self. And that was exactly what Walter was looking for.
And Walter's like, oh yeah, I do just like that you're a bitch. I don't care about the gender. I just like that you're a bitch.
Then Walter yeets off the tower, not yeet ports. The gospel has stopped working again, so we've got another dud one as the sky has reappeared.
I love it. Before you get to this part, because I know what you're going to say, Estelle goes, can an enforcer jump from this height and, like, not die? In all caps, die. And I just thought that was so funny.
And Joshua's like, not all of them can, no. Kilika's like, oh god, why are men so dumb? Jin's just there kind of umming and ahhing. I don't think he even really understands what happened between Kilika and Walter, in my interpretation at least.
Whatever interpretation, he clearly doesn't understand what's just gone on. He's like, I have more questions now.
But Joshua's just like, preemptively, I repent all of my sins and beg forgiveness, please. Just stop staring at me.
Yeah, because Estelle turns, you can see her sprite. I think there might have been a line of dialogue there too, or like a ... with a dialogue, but her sprite turns and stares at him after Kilika says, why are men so simple? Estelle glares at Joshua, and he's like, I repent all my sins, stop staring at me.
Joshua is smart. Just pre-apologize, like, know your place.
Well, I love this line, especially in line of the whole, like, I fall upon my blades on the hour, every hour, and repentance, whatever that I got earlier. Like, I love that. I love him. He's so funny. And then we go back to the Oriole. We're back in the conference room with Russell and Julia, and Russell's immediately like...
The Arseille, not the Oriole.
Sorry. Not the Oriole. Russell's like, the fuck? Kilika climbed the whole thing by herself? We're all just like...
Yeah, everyone's impressed.
Wow, she's crazy. He's like, other person I can think of who could do that is Julia. And Estelle, with a blushy face, goes, like Kilika and Julia together.
Yeah, she has a Yuri moment for sure.
Yeah, and Joshua goes, those two could probably juggle mountains working together. And I'm like, what mountains are those? Estelle needs to excuse herself to do something with her big stick.
Yeah.
What girls
do.
ladies
do with a big stick.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we get an update on the next tower is Sapphirl Tower, because we've learnt that a woman in black with a bell is there as that enforcer. So, Luciola.
They could have just said a woman. Like, of the enforcers we know, there's a girl child and an adult woman. So they didn't even need to describe the woman. It's like, woman.
It's like, there's a woman. Oh, got it. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Shara says that she's going to tag along this time because it's her turn to resolve a personal storyline.
Yep. Or at least progress it.
I also made a point to decide who would get the final blow on each enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
So Blue Blanc got taken down by Estelle because she's sick of his riddles.
Mm-hmm.
Walter, Jin got the final blow. And then when we get to Luciola, I made sure it was Shara. So
I mostly did that actually as well. Complete coincidence, except Estelle left Blue Blanc with 3 HP.
Fuck off.
3. And I was like, okay, Agate, you can fucking kill him. Estelle, if you couldn't seal the deal, I'll let Agate take him out. Because 3 HP? What the fuck?
You know, it's not kind of the narrative joy of getting that final strike yourself, but having Agate just walk up and backhand them to death at the last blow is pretty insulting, and I do like that.
I wish they added a craft for Agate that was just a slap. Just slap you across the room. We also get a meanwhile back at the ranch moment again. And this one is a little more personally, emotionally connected, because we get to see Gull Seaside Way, where Matron Teresa and the orphans of the orphanage are trying to evacuate to Minoria Village and are under attack by some of the big dog monster creatures. And as the army is trying to protect them, more come from the other direction, and it looks like they're done for. And it's the 4 kids, and little kid Clem is like, I gotta go and protect everyone. And Matron's like, she's like, no, you're 4. And she's like praying. She's like, please let something happen. Like, we're gonna fucking die. And then we get our other brace of friends. We get Annalise and Kurt and Grant. They come in, they take care of them, and then Karna comes from outside, and they save them. And they manage to go safely to Minoria Village.
I do like this little animated fight because Grant, Kurt, and Annalise do like a 3-person X-slash, like from Chrono Trigger. They all sort of dive across the same enemy at the same time. It looks so sick. While Karna's up top, sort of on a cliffside, offering fire support. It looks so good. Also, Kurt does stare into the eyes of his enemies and say the phrase, by my arts, become hard as steel. Yeah,
I love that. It's Cold Steel?
I don't think it's cold,
because
he casts a boosting effect on his entire party, including Annalise, who's now just rock hard for the first time in her life. But yeah, they managed to take out all the pincer of enemies between them and the army.
Yes.
And let them all kind of make a run for Minoria Village while they hold off any other enemies. Then they get attacked by 6 of the cyberdogs, which is so many cyberdogs.
So many cyberdogs.
And that's the point at which Kurt, casts his Viagra spell on the party so that they can fight them.
Okay, you saying that makes me think of how in ancient Greece, it was either the ancient Greeks or people that the ancient Greeks fought. They would rush into battle naked because the enemy would get freaked out by watching a man running into battle dick swinging. That's what I'm imagining. That they couldn't show it because of like censorship and ratings and stuff.
Yeah.
But the sprites are all running into battle naked to freak out the dogs.
Dick swinging.
I don't know why the dogs would notice or care, but they're dick swinging.
As they kind of dive into battle with these swanging dogs, we cut back to the Arseille. Now, at this point, I was advised by my guide that I should go talk to Antoine, but specifically with Chloe in the party.
We got follow-up on my thoughts.
Yes, it's a follow-up on your thoughts about Chloe maybe having some sort of low-level animal telepathy in addition to her, like, specialization in birds.
I wonder if I think I subconsciously remembered this, and, like, because I didn't consciously remember that this, but I think I must have subconsciously been like, Chloe has animal telepathy, not just bird telepathy. It's like speaking Italian, but being able to, like, get some Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, that's the impression I get of this. She's not talking quite as fluently the way she does with Sieg, but she's understanding enough. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. So all animals speak in like a related like language.
We step out onto the back deck of the Arseille to find Antoine just hanging out on the back deck, which has no railing. It's very dangerous. I don't like it because my first thought was that my cat would immediately fall off the airship.
Yeah, it's a little unnerving. Well, what's worse is that there is a railing, but then there's a gap. There's a big deliberate like gap, which is almost worse. I don't know why you would have that unless something else was going to dock to it.
Yes.
But then you'd still think that it closes when you're in flight, you know? Like, why is there an open spot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where the gangplank would either come out of or attach to. But yeah, it should have something up in the meantime. I thought this was meant to be the best airship ever.
Yeah.
Come on, all health and safety. So we have a chat to Antoine. We ask, what are you doing out here? And he says, Niao. What's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Followed by nya ya ya, which is just an expression of delight.
Huh.
Joshua asks, are you trying to tell us something, Antoine? Chloe says it seems like he wants to give us something, to which Antoine responds, Nyaon, which is yes, that's right, and hands over a book. The cat gives us a book.
I love that Chloe thinks, like, why do you have a book?
Chloe's like, oh, you're giving us this book? And then thinks to herself, you have a book? Why do you have a book? It's chapter 10 of Gambler Jack.
Yep.
Chloe thanks Antoine, to which he responds, Mia un, which is you are welcome, squishy pink thing.
Squishy purple thing, excuse you.
It sounds like, this is really special. Thank you. And then afterwards, if you talk to him again, default dialogue is just to go fum ya nyaun, which is yawn, I'm tired. And Chloe is just every time says, oh, look, who's sunbathing.
Oh, yeah. So she has some understanding of Cat.
Yeah.
I also noticed while I was running her on the airship. So last time I was on the airship, when I was in the cafeteria or the mess or whatever. Ray.
Yes.
And I didn't get his dialogue, but Ray was there the first time. Ray's the guy who invented the acerbic tomatoes. But now he's there. He's looking around the kitchen. He's talking to himself.
Yeah, I love this.
But how steam disappears, but it's really that it's just dispersed into the atmosphere. It's not actually gone. Conservation of matter and energy. And same's got to apply to this. The orbital energy's got to be stored somewhere. So he's having a breakthrough. And if you go into the workshop, all the engineers and scientists are like taking a break because they're struggling on what they're thinking about.
Yeah.
So he's figuring out by looking at steam dissolving, like this is kind of what Russell had been talking about, that the energy isn't just disappearing from the Gospels, it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're figuring it. I just like that touch that he's looking at the chef in the kitchen being like, steam! The steam engine's where it's at, you guys.
Yeah. Because he's been hanging out in the kitchen on and off
the
entire time we've seen the Arseille. He's been kind of like helping out. Because, he said he was like a theoretician, but he was just on board as an extra set of hands originally when we first took the Arseille.
Yeah.
But now he's hanging out there and having his Isaac Newton moment.
Yeah.
And I love that later on, I think after the next tower, you find him in the lab working alongside everyone else, and he's talking about how they've together made discoveries, which is really cool.
I like that.
Well, he's kind of ruminating as like all this energy, the orbital energy that gets eaten by the shutdown phenomenon, it has to go somewhere. And he's pondering, like, is it powering the dimension that the Ariel is in, or is it being eaten by the dimension, or absorbed by the Ariel? Is it powering the shadowed dimensions?
Yeah.
And he's talking about folded dimensions, which is a really high-level conversation to be having with yourself in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But it turns out to work great for us.
It works.
The only other things that I noticed running around, I stopped by Russell and gave him more crystals.
That makes it sound like you're giving him meth.
I mean, you've seen his hair. Come on.
Yeah, of course.
I stopped by Kevin, who is quietly developing a crush on Kilika since she soloed the tower. He's very impressed by it. And also, when I sort of had Shara in my party, I stopped by Agate and he said, hey, like, I know you've probably got this, but if you need any help, I'm there. Just say the word.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Just a nice bit of, like, camaraderie between two equally footed bracers. Actually, they're not even the same rank, but he's just like, I can hit things real hard if you need that.
They're both veteran bracers, compared to us at least.
And again, it's one of these moments of like interplay between the characters that we don't often see. Because, for half of the game, it was an either-or situation. Yeah. So we haven't seen a huge amount of the relationship between the two of them. So it's nice that it's like trusting support.
Did you have anything else before Sapphirl Tower?
No, that was about all I found in this round of the Arseille. I just kind of stocked up on items and headed back out.
Yeah, there are some more hints that Professor Russell's working on something that he's not going to tell us about yet, because he's not sure it's going anywhere. And Tita's like, he's working on a lot of things at once, so, like, I really want to help him. And then we go to Sapphirl Tower, and lo and behold, it also has a weird psychedelic alternate dimension. Shocker. Yes,
but this dungeon is like, they're giving us a breather before the final one, because it is a straight line.
They even comment on that later.
You're running down this straight line through a series of corridors that are just packed to the brim with treasure chests full of healing items, which I understand they needed something to put in all these chests, but it's so much of it is just healing items when you do still have access to a store.
Yeah, and we have like curing spells and people with crafts that cure effects and also heal. Like,
it honestly, with the volume of them, because even in normal dungeons when they give us healing item treasure chests, there's like a couple. There's so many of them that I think part of it is like a psychological game against the player. By giving them so many reviving and healing items, you're kind of raising the bar for what they expect from the bosses.
Psych them out. Like, this is going to be so hard.
Yeah. Which is why it was a psych out last time with Walter, because he was surprisingly easy. But just the sheer amount of healing items they're giving you is like, you're going to need these. Which I kind of enjoy. Also just a reason to go around these giant dungeons, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they are so big. Except for this one, which is a straight line, and we love it. So we run straight to the end of it, going past all of the next set of data crystals, each of which has a boss fight in front of it with like some tough enemies. Did you want to...
I can start. Okay. When we were working on building or constructing or something, the underground facility, unbeknownst to us, our seal plan was uncovered by the Oriole. One of our comrades fell victim to the sweet seduction of the Oriole's euphoric simulations, and he was lost to us. There's something creepy about the idea that, like, he was just lost to us because he was so sucked in by these, like, visions and, like...
He gooned so hard he disappeared.
He gooned so hard that his brain broke and could never be restored. He was just lost forever in the AI.
Gooned to death.
Gooned to death. Is that the episode title?
Oh god, it might be.
Oh god, that's awful. Gooned to death. So yeah, he was lost to us.
Yeah.
However, the silver lining, maybe?
Yes.
In this disaster was that this comrade, oh my god, they were communists, was not aware of the full scale of the plan. With the information it gathered from his mind, the Oriole something on the underground facility by the...
I would say wayside, but there's too many letters.
Yeah, usually there's less letters, not like if they're not identical, not more. Hang on, I'm cooking for a sec. Lakeside.
Oh, yep.
Turned its forces, something along those lines. Hang on. I know I've got this. It focused itself on, something like that. Okay.
I would say focused itself, yeah.
Yeah. Paid no attention to the Amberl or the Weiss Towers. Okay, your turn.
Number 2. The Oriole, having learned of the plan, took to force. The Oriole manifested enemies?
Oh, I think I know what this is. I think it's going to be reveries.
Oh, manifested reveries as its defenders and let them...
Maybe set them on us or upon us?
Set them upon us in the facility. However, we were saved by our decision to...
Decision to build?
To build, yeah? A decision to build the facility underground. Just one single channel connected the facility to the surface. The Reveries', so yeah, you were right. The Reveries' attack could not punch down X100 Arge beneath the surface. Oh god, they're making it harder and harder. The attacks by the Reveries went on and on, day and night without pause. Eventually, our defensive plans began to reach its limit. Okay.
While under attack by the Reveries, we were able to finish the facility, but it took time to secure the necessary energy. During the process, it seems, we got careless and a single reverie broke into the facility proper. Once inside, stopping it was difficult. The reverie reached the section's deepest sections in an instant. We were just a hair's breadth from total disaster when the full power for the sealing operation was finally gathered. Just as the reverie set upon us, we activated the first barrier.
Now, I'll just point out here that the Society's Lakeside Lab is likely built on top of whatever this ancient facility is, which is why that they had another reverie. Yeah. Because this would have been the one that came up to the topside facility, which they've built over the top of, or they've basically built around this, and that is why they're both on the side of Valeria Lake.
And that's why there's multiple reveries at all, because there was a whole legion of them produced by the Oriole as its soldiers. It's like in Final Fantasy VII when the weapons get produced.
They're basically sentry robots, just on a scale that we were unfamiliar with. So the final boss of the last game was just one guard. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Anyway, part 4 about the Oriole seal. A light shone from the facility, reflected off the outer or inner wall of the Annenberg, caught the Oriole floating in the sky. In mere moments, the Oriole
disappeared, I'm guessing.
Disappeared from us, and the reverie stopped entirely. through this, we knew that the something was successful, the plan.
First barrier, maybe.
The first barrier was successful. Now have a look at this next screenshot, because Jesus Christ, why did I pick this one? This is like 80% redacted. I'm going to take a go at it. The aureole is, of all the septarians, the treasure governing the power of space. What was needed to nullify the aureole that held absolute dominion over space itself was to utterly sever the connections to space. And then there's like 6 words in a row that are all blanked out. So I don't even know.
Okay, I have an idea.
Okay. Something seal hard had sent city into and successfully froze. So I have no clue. Please go ahead.
So I think, and this is part memory and part speculation, that it had to sever connections to space, and I think also to time. Like, it had to be in a dimension outside of time. So it's been frozen in time all this time. So I think the next part, something to space, is going to be like end to time itself, or and also to time, or something like that.
Yeah.
The seal mechanism, because that's usually the word that goes with seal. Something of hard work, maybe?
Made it too hard, something had sent the aureole, something, something
city, maybe, and the whole city, or like along with the city, because
and the floating city.
The aureole had a city that went with it, and the floating city into another dimension,
and successfully temporally froze it. So yeah, it was locked outside of our dimension in space and then paused in time. Jesus, that was a tough one.
That was so fucked up. And now we can go hang out with Lucy.
Hey, Lucy.
You're so fun.
Is there really much to say about this fight with Lucy? I don't think there is.
She and Shara talk a bit, only a bit really at the end. I mean, it's the same thing where the mist demons that she had in that last chapter came back, where only one's immune to physical and one to arts. The one interesting thing is that we find out after the fight that Lucy killed the troop leader, Harvey.
Pushed him off a goddamn cliff.
Shara's, like, adoptive dad. She pushed him off a fucking cliff and, like, was like, and I felt nothing as I went back. And then I made a illusion sound to make you hear his scream a few hours later so that I couldn't be placed at the scene of the crime. And I'm like, okay, psycho.
Yeah, all right.
And basically she tells Shara, I'll tell you why. Next time we meet, I'll tell you why I killed him.
Everyone's doing this, just, like, plugging in like a see you next time prompt.
Yeah, bitch.
I think one thing that they did actually change is that in this fight with Lucy, with her 2 fog ghosts, not only are they immune to either weapons or arts, they actually heal from them if you attack them incorrectly. I think
they did that in the last one too.
Oh, because I had fully blanked on like the mechanics of the fight with her, and I hadn't stopped to read the enemy descriptions, so I was trying to wipe them and just kept accidentally healing one after the other for a while until I was like, oh, that's why. So I made the fight a lot harder than it needed to be, but did eventually take her down. She gives her big reveal that she's a murderer, and then she does her illusion teleport away as another Beta Gospel dies. So now we have 3 of them.
Oh, she does say something about, like, Shara's like, but he was like a father to us, and she's like, yes, he was, which is why I couldn't forgive him for trying to leave us, I think, just to give them some dues to, like, what it was. But, like, I'm so much more invested in what's happening with the Oriole at this point, and then the next boss we fight, I'm so much more emotionally invested in that I think Lucy gets the short end of the stick in terms of my investment. Sorry, Shara.
Sorry, Shara. But yeah, again, let's Shara get the final strike on Lucy. Yes. I think it was just a basic attack, because I really wanted to add insult to injury to her in this moment.
Nice.
She leaves, Gospel breaks, we get another one, we return to the Arseille.
And then we get a meanwhile with Cassius. And an officer is reporting to him on, like, yeah, things are getting better. We've dealt with all the archaisms approaching the cities. And there were a lot of the officers, like, these are just a bunch of puffed up criminals. They can't do anything to us. And Cassius is like, yeah, don't underestimate them. They have an airship the size of a small town.
Yeah.
And then he invokes something called Emergency Order 1, which he then clarifies to himself. It's the order that gets invoked in times of extreme crisis. We don't know what happens when you invoke that order, but, like, it's a big deal.
Then he turns around and makes a phone call and asks to have him brought up. So I assume he's having Alan brought up from the jail in Leyston Fortress to talk to him. I do like that we get kind of, like, in this little scene, an idea of what all of the major military characters are doing. So we've got Cassius is running things from his office at Leyston. Morgan's on the airship that's chasing a society ship at the start of this little meanwhile scene. We get, like, a little mini action scene, which is always fun. Officer Belk and Sid are on the ground, and they've been hunting the dolls, the guard dolls. And just to be clear, we only hunt the dolls in Sky SC. In reality, we protect the dolls.
Yes, obviously. Protect all dolls. If you couldn't tell from our long meander and talk about Kilika
Yeah.
being a doll and the coolest character in this whole game, protect the dolls at all times.
Protect the dolls, brackets, and let them protect themselves if they want. Because Kilika doesn't need no protecting.
Sure.
But then it's back to the Arseille after that. Back on the Arseille, we get the hint that the next and final tower will be the Amberl Tower. We get confirmation that it's Ren as expected. And Joshua has his sort of input, because we haven't really heard his thoughts about Ren so far.
Yeah, we haven't yet. We've heard her thoughts about him, but not his thoughts about her.
Yeah, so he says when he was last with the Society, she was still basically in the intern position that they offered Estelle. She wasn't an enforcer yet, she was just being trained.
Except she was 5.
and being tortured as training. But now she can control Patamata, the giant mech robot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sort of questioning if it even works at all, because it wasn't a functional thing. It was more of a concept when he was with the Society.
Yeah, and they actually stopped his development because the control system they couldn't figure out.
But we do know that Ren's really good at controlling these dolls, so maybe some part of it, getting Patamata to work, is just her using her intrinsic abilities.
Renness.
To kind of bridge the gap.
And then Estelle's talking about how she wants to reach Ren and save her and get her away from society. And then it's you probably think I'm really naive. And Joshua goes, no, of all the people in the world, maybe you could actually reach her. Which is true, because Estelle is magical. Estelle and Cassius have this magical ability to reach people. And I love that that's such a thing. And then Joshua says something very sweet in the context of just everything in the last 2 chapters. He goes, come on, we'll do our best together. Which is a really simple line, but it's in any other game, that's such a trivial power friendship line, but it feels very earned. And it feels like character growth on Joshua's part to say that.
Exactly, yeah. It's nice that we're a team again. We're working together.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's not trying to go off on his own to do it by himself.
Yeah. So the only other thing that I did on the Arseille at this point, because my guide told me to, was to trade in all of my Sepith for money.
I traded in almost all of it. I always get cautious, but yes, there's a reason, and you will be able to, in the next chapter, buy Sepith for some...
An exact exchange rate, the guide said, yeah.
There is one shop that becomes available only in next chapter for a period of time where you can do that.
I cashed out all of my Sepith, trusting the guide, which was kind of cool, because I've built up so much, because I've finished level 2ing everyone's orbits already.
Mm-hmm.
I'd had a bit of a build up and got a couple of level 3 slots that it told me for upcoming dungeons and stuff, and then I just cashed out. I got $300,000 or $400,000, and I felt very rich.
Yes.
But after that, I pretty much headed to the tower. I did check in with Antoine. He doesn't have anything new to say. He's just saying what's wrong still.
I talked to a couple people. I talked to Tita. Mm-hmm. I then added her to my party. But first I talked to her, and she's just really worried about Ren. I talked to Agate. With Tita in the party, I was hoping Agate would say something to Tita about Ren. He didn't. But we learned a bit about Joshua, or from Joshua, that Ren is stronger than him because Ren was trained in infiltration and in direct assault, whereas Joshua was just trained in covert operations. So she should be stronger. Jin has a comment about how he's pretty sure Ren carries a much greater burden than is obvious at first. That basically he thinks Ren's been through some big ass trauma with a capital T.
Yeah, that is possible.
That is likely, given that kids don't end up like this for no reason.
Yeah.
As we get up to the tower, Estelle goes, you think they might be nice twice in a row and give us a straight path so you don't get lost? It's so fucking funny.
Nice try at metagaming, Estelle, but no, joke's on you. This is by far the most overcomplicated one.
It's the worst.
Oh my god. So again, my guide, I'm very appreciative of whoever was doing the maps for this guide, because they're a lot more helpful than most of these kind of teleporting map guides used to be. They have letter coded all of the teleport pairs.
This one I found confusing though, because I kept getting the left and right confused because I didn't know if it was my left or the party's left.
I was just following the letters, so I'd go through the A teleport, then the B teleport. They get up to N.
Yeah.
There's something N, so what, it's 14, 16 pairs of teleports? Because then there's also some that are dual pairs. There's
J1 and J2, yeah.
J1 and J2 on this guide, and it's layered, and it's going up and down and over and under. It's a lot. So if you're playing out there and you did it without a guy, if you raw dogged this dungeon, more power to you. I'm not doing that. But there's a lot of treasure chests again, and then we get to our next set of crystal messages. Oh my god, I hope they're nicer to me this time.
And you're starting this one off, right? This is your turn?
I am indeed. So these crystal data things are about the device towers, the tetracyclic towers. The first barrier was activated successfully, and we had succeeded in performing a temporal freeze upon the Aureole in another dimension. However, that was not the only barrier within the plan to seal the Aureole. The plan's final defense line, the second barrier, the something to that lies within the 4 device towers. The key to that lies within the 4 device towers.
Okay, the next one. The mechanism is built to activate should the first barrier fall and time once again tick in the space of the Aureole. The second barrier's other name is the gravity barrier, and it can manifest gravity inside the other dimension. Should the Aureole resume activity by tying this other dimension down with the linchpins of gravity, the goal was to prevent its return to reality? That sounds right.
I think so, yeah. Putting the word linchpins in there is cruel of them, honestly.
It's fucking cruel. I can't believe I got that one. I was like, Psst.
Yeah, I was just like, no, I'm not even bothering about it. Chipmunks, who knows? Message number 3. If the second barrier activates, it signals that the Aureole is once again active. As a something with its gospels, anyone will be free to draw out its power.
Maybe as a result, because there's comma.
Oh, as a result, yeah. Okay. They really want to challenge me. The something remaining on lower something were sealed with the Aureole.
Maybe it's the Gospels, so they just mentioned the Gospels.
The Gospels remaining on place that we don't know about yet were sealed with the Aureole. However, should something in place...
Like work or serve or place or something?
Could serve in place of the Gospels be made in the world to come, the Aureole would be free to wield its power in reality again. Yeesh.
Yikes. And last one. We succeeded in sealing the Aureole, but the power has not been destroyed. We will root ourselves to this land and watch over the Aureole. I pray that we will be successful in our watch, maybe, and that these records are never seen by any eyes. However,
loves a however.
While we are something in our duty,
steadfast
in our duty, we predict that such will not be our future. When the Aureole once again returns to reality, how will our descendants choose to respond? Believing that we will not make the same mistake again, and the time will come when we are truly free of the Aureole, I leave these records for the future. Okay, so this is really interesting when you think about how at the very first one said that this was Celeste von Oslacey. Is this the history of the Liberl royal family, that they planted themselves in Liberl to watch over the Aureole, and that is the whole purpose of the royal family all this time, to guard the Aureole? Because that kind of is the implication. We will root ourselves in this land.
Interesting, yeah, because we now know that so many of these like key locations in the story of Sky are built on top of ancient things, and it seems that's not a coincidence.
It seems very deliberate.
The castle is on top of the sealed area. The Lakeside Lab is on top of the underground facility. The Annenberg Wall points to the tetracyclic towers, which are linked to the sealed area under the castle. It's all a big thing. Who would have guessed?
It is. So then we get to the top of the tower. Unless we had anything else in the tower to shout out.
I think I had a couple of like fun chess messages along the way.
Sure.
Oh, I didn't mention it during Sapphirl Tower, but I did have one end of battle with Chloe in my party, I believe, where her XP was at 44444, and that was just fun.
Ooh, that's cute.
And it was like the most unlucky it could be for a Japanese audience, but it was kind of a fun coincidence.
Huh.
But yeah, chess messages in the amber altered space. What did I have? Oh, You open the chest so quickly that it catches fire, scorching its contents to ashes. Maybe this will teach you to contain your excitement.
That's fun. There's also, I wish I could share a little love with you. Shara, spelled like Shara. I feel like there was one at some point that was an East reference, but I didn't screenshot it this time.
Oh, yes, that was in Sapphirl Tower, actually. It was the one that says, Dogu the Wall Crusher's got nothing on Estelle the Treasure Taker. Yeah, so that was all for Amberl. Also, I had to repeat most of Amberl Tower. I told you this off podcast already.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'd made my way through the entire dungeon with its 30-something chests, and I had saved right in front of the teleporter through to the boss fight. Something happened to my save, and it reverted to a previous save that I'd saved in front of an enemy chest that was numbered number 9 on the list.
Oh god.
So I had to redo the whole dungeon. It was a lot quicker when you don't stop to read all the chest messages because you've already screenshotted them. But it turned out to be a good thing because right before I got to the end boss, I had everyone sort of charged up with 200 CP, ready to go. And I got into a fight with Shining Poms, 5 Shining Poms. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. Literally there's no enemies left in the dungeon. They do not respawn. I don't know if you can actually leave the altered space and come back in to respawn them.
I don't know.
But nothing you do in transitioning map to map will bring them back. So I couldn't recharge my CP, but I was like, I've got to burn it. It's Shining Poms. So I managed to take out 4 out of 5, which meant that after having to redo all that leveling up for the entire party, they ended up getting an extra 5 levels. It was mid-60s, I think Tita was. And now she's level 78.
Oh yeah, consolation prize. She was baby.
So I re-earned her second S-Craft, Satellite Beam.
Which is a cute animation.
I re-earned Josh's True Blade Fang.
We love True Black Fang.
It was a nice little bittersweet moment before I headed up to meet our favorite little murder girl.
Little murder girl who's calling Estelle a bad girl because she ran away from the Glorious while Ren was off the ship. But she forgives Estelle because Estelle came back to play. She's also happy to see Joshua, who says she's grown a bit. And Ren's like, Estelle was right. You really are handsome now, Joshua. And Estelle's frustrated that she's like, you're always acting so grown up, but we're here to stop society's plan. Ren's like, yeah, whatever. And Estelle's like, I'm not here to fight you, Ren. I'm here to do something way more important. I want to talk to you. Ren's like, oh, is it like story time? And Estelle's like, no, this is about your invitation to join the society. And Ren's like, oh, well, you found Joshua on your own, so I guess I know you're not going to accept, but whatever. You'll never stop Ouroboros. Estelle's like, no, but the thing is, I want to get stronger. And so that part of the society's offer is somewhat tempting. But if I got stronger by being a member of the society, I would not be Estelle Bright anymore, is basically what she says. And Ren does not understand. She's like, nothing you're saying makes sense.
One thing I found interesting throughout this entire conversation is that Ren is changing personalities when she responds to Estelle versus Joshua.
Yes.
Whenever she's responding to Estelle, she has light in her eyes. She's got the sparkle. But when she responds to Joshua, she gets the glassy eyes that he had when he was in live journal mode.
Oh, I didn't know. She even comments on Joshua's eyes at one point. She's like, your eyes aren't cold anymore. It's weird.
And she is fully switching between these two personas. She's being very blunt and cruel to Joshua, and then turning around and being friendly to Estelle.
Yeah. With
her cutesy haha girl persona.
Estelle says the speech to Ren. She says, Ren, I really like you. You act all grown up. You love pranks. You're more sympathetic than I'd expect given the circumstances. You deceived me on a lot of things, but I can't bring myself to hate you. But that's why. That's why I don't want you to be in this society. And she says something so key here. She says, if you were an adult choosing of your own free will, I could respect that at least. But what they've done to you, what they are doing to you, is fundamentally wrong.
Yes.
If you've grown to an adult the way you are now, you'll never ever be able to turn back. Ren doesn't react well to this, but I love this speech. It's not badass and cool for a child to end up like this. It is not cool. It is not strong. It is fundamentally wrong. And I really like the way she says, you are not an adult. You are not a cool little scary murder girl. You're an abused, manipulated, traumatized child who is being taken advantage of by adults. And I love that she lays it out like that. Because it's so easy and so often in, Ren's character archetype in so many forms of media is just, scary murder creepy girl. It's a fun thing. Yeah. And it's not a fun thing if a little child is, when you actually think about it, all the adults in a child's life have to have wronged them so badly for a child to end up with this kind of attitude towards harming others.
It's also nice that I feel like a lot of the time when you have this kind of character archetype, it goes one of two ways. Either evil murder girl stays evil murder girl forever.
Yeah.
Or there's a pivotal scene where she breaks out crying one time and then afterwards she's a regular girl.
No. And it doesn't happen like this.
Here we're seeing a lot more nuance and shades between it, where we're seeing the breadth of person that she is, or the different people she can inhabit without realizing that she is deeply broken inside by the things that have been done to her.
And Ren does not respond well to Estelle's speech. She gets mad in a way we've never seen her before. Her eyes actually lose all light, like, for real.
Yes.
Like, there was a little light in them before talking to Joshua. Now there's absolutely none. She's like, I hate you. I want you to die.
Yeah.
And we've never heard her just, like, lose it like this. Like, clearly what Estelle has said has hit something in her that we haven't seen hit before. Even though, obviously, she's lashing out in anger. Yeah. Clearly, this has struck a chord with her in some way.
Yeah, this is the point in the conversation where she also switches to having glassy eyes whenever she responds to Estelle as well.
Yeah.
So she's fully recategorized Estelle as a foe in her mind.
Yep.
And so, yeah, she dives forward and tries to just, like, straight up slice Estelle's head off.
Yeah.
But Joshua jumps in time and blocks her.
This is such an annoying thing because I'm just trying desperately to... I've got Kevin at 200 CP. I'm trying to get off his S-Craft ASAP to guard us, and I can't get it off before Ren's thing goes. So I have to revive Kevin with a fucking Zerum capsule to get back to 200 CP and then do it because it's just... it drives me crazy. But it's an interesting fight otherwise. Because that first wave is so hard. Like, so brutal, but then after that, I could death scream all the minion things to death, for the most part, and then Ren is not that hard to take down. She hits really hard, but she's like a glass cannon.
Yeah, it's wild how they start this fight, because I didn't know what was coming the first time. I did have to do this fight twice, because I got KO'd.
I had to, and I knew it was coming, and I still had to start over.
She opens the fight before you can take a single action with her S-Craft. She S-breaks, she uses Renade. Which wiped out 2 or 3 of my party members instantly, including Kevin. Yeah. Then all of the enemies get a turn, and she gets another turn.
It's brutal.
So by the time I was able to take a single action, I was down to 1 person. I think it was Tita, of all people.
I had Estelle left, of all people.
And just got wiped, because there was no way to even bring the others back at that point without getting wiped again. So I had to redo it, and yeah, it seems like the name of the game is trying to, like, click on the screen fast enough to S-break Kevin before she can.
Yeah.
Because there's like a half second if you know what's coming.
I wasn't able to do it.
I wasn't either, but I did do it during her S-Craft, so...
I did that, but he died anyway.
In the version that I did, Estelle, and Joshua survived, but only Tita went down, so I managed to get the 200 CP barrier on the rest.
Mine was the reverse. Tita stayed up and Kevin went down for me.
Yeah. Once you do get past that hurdle, it's pretty easy. She's not that strong. You're right, she's a glass cannon. So you take her down along with her, like, robo friends. She has a bunch of those little, the droids that were in the abandoned mine, the V starting ones. I can't remember what they were called.
But then we get another speech from her, or another little exchange after she's been beat. She gives this, like, clearly trying to be, like, edgy, like, freak Estelle out. She goes, I love looking down on people suffering. I love their screams of agony when they die, blah, blah, blah. Estelle's upset by this. Joshua says something like, Ren, are you still? Or something like that. And Ren cuts him off in all caps, silence, Fang. She's like, I don't want Joshua to say what he's about to say. And then she's like, hey, Estelle, I've got a fairy tale of my own, you know. I've got this speech written out, too, so I didn't miss any screenshots. It's upsetting. A long time ago in a land far, far away, a little girl named Ren had a fake mama and papa. Ren loved them a lot, but one day, they said they had a problem and had to go away for a while. They gave Ren away to other grown-ups who were very bad people. They were crying when they gave Ren away. They said, we'll come back for you, sweetie, over and over. But they never did. After Ren was given away to those people, she was made to do many unpleasant things. Ren got used to most of it, but she never got used to being hurt. There were other kids the same age there too, but most of them got sick and died. That went on for about half a year. In the end, Mama and Papa were fake. If they were a real Mama and Papa, they would have come for Ren when she got hurt. Right, Estelle? That's how your Papa and Mama act, right? Estelle's just lost for words. And she looks so sad, and Ren goes, aw, don't be sad. It all ended up okay. Joshua and Luve came for Ren instead. They slaughtered all the bad grown-ups, stabbed them, burned them. It was wonderful. They brought Ren home to Ouroboros. Ren learned so much when she came home. Joshua taught her to be sneaky. Luve taught her to fight and kill. She learned all sorts of things from everyone else too, and the nice people at the 13 factories taught her how to be friends with dolls, just like Pedro, which is a reference to the doll night. And that's when she met her real Mama and Papa in one, and she summons Potter Mater. and says, "A kid like me being in the society is wrong, you say? If I become an adult the way I am now, I'll never be able to go back, you say? Lies! Lies! I only met my real papa and mama after the society took me in. I became the happiest girl in the world. I got my happy ending!" And Estelle goes, Ren, listen to me. And Ren goes, "If you deny that, Estelle, then you're my worst enemy. I'll enjoy your screams as Powder crushes you into paste. Die, die, die!" She crashes out here. This is like such a disturbing thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot we learn in this. Obviously we don't know the details of what happened to her, but I think your imagination can fill in a lot of blanks.
Yes.
Bad shit happened to Ren, let's say.
I will say, like, while I've tried to get myself fairly spoiler averse for most future things, I do specifically know what this is referring to because Lex recommended I check out a particular scene from a later game ahead of something in one of the later games. Yes, so I have context for this, and oh boy. Also, when she mentions she never got used to being hurt, it's one of the few times that Ren's sad portrait gets used.
Yeah.
Like, she's actually feeling the feelings. Also, it does kind of underscore the seriousness of the moment in a funny way that I like, that every time Matapata lands, I laugh.
Right.
Because it's always just clunk, here it is from the sky.
It's true. The thing that I think stands out here is that the thing that she had happen, the first chapter we met her, back in chapter 3, when she faked her mother and father abandoning her, saying that they had something important to take care of and would come back for her, she was recreating what really happened to her for Estelle to be a part of. And, like, recreating a happier ending to that, where Estelle and the Bracers came and took care of her and looked for her parents, and those were the people who got into her care. Like, she recreates it for them to see what happened to her, and for her to have a happier version of how that ended. Oh, and that's so fascinating that they do not tell you what that's what she was doing during that chapter. It's only all these chapters later that they give us the context to contextualize what that was all about.
Yeah. Wild.
We also get, no wonder she's so attached to Joshua if Joshua is one of the people who rescued her from beyond abusive situation that she was clearly in.
Yeah.
No wonder violence or watching violence happen to other people is something she takes as sort of relief or joy in, if that's what she associates with her rescue from this.
Maybe a bit of like a Schadenfreude thing as well, just like
kinda, yeah.
The relief of pain being inflicted to someone beside herself.
Yeah. This feels like a real sort of logic that a kid could come up with, that rather than accept the idea that my parents did this to me, they couldn't have been my real parents. Somehow they were fake. Instead of dealing with the pain of the idea that I had parents who did something horrific to me, she rationalized it by saying they were never a real, whatever, like, in whatever way real means. They were never even my real mother and father. That the kind of weird rationalization that does feel very human and like child human. And then the ending of this speech where she's shouting and she's got this angry look on her face. "I'm the happiest girl in the world. I got my happy ending." It is so clear that is not how she is not the happiest girl in the world. She is a deeply traumatized, deeply suffering child. And Estelle clocks in the next scene. Estelle's like, yeah, she's clearly not actually happy. Like everyone's like, yeah, obviously she's suffering. But that this is the story she tells herself, that she's like, it's okay because I got my happy ending, and now this is my happy ending. And so what Ouroboros being part of the society to her is her happily ever after from a fairy tale. And Estelle trying to take that away from her is an existential threat.
Yeah.
To all of her coping mechanisms. What Estelle has just said has been an existential threat to every coping mechanism she's built up. And like, those are not good coping mechanisms.
Oh, no.
Those need to be gotten rid of and replaced with healthy coping mechanisms. But also, it makes complete sense that she absolutely crashes out when the coping mechanisms she's developed are threatened.
A lot going on in multiple layers, yeah.
And then we fight Powder, who's actually pretty easy.
Yes, which Joshua mentions is a Gordius class tactical archaism, just for a bit more information. Yeah, this fight, honestly, kind of easy as well. Patamata is huge and does decent damage, but he only has 2 attacks.
He's tanky, but like, he's slow too. Slow as shit.
He has like a hit and a slam, and that's it.
Yeah.
He's really slow. You can like AT delay him and just kind of like wail on him with spells really quickly. In any case, we take out Patamata eventually. We only have to fight him. It's not like him and Ren. She's just hanging out for the fight.
She's on his hand, but she's not doing anything. But then when we go back to the cutscene, we're like, this thing is so hard. Like, the cutscene does not imply that we beat him.
Yeah, it was also kind of funny because for me, again, I was doing the narrative final blows. So Tita got the final blow for this one,
because there's a line where if you bring Tita along where at the start of the interaction, Ren's like, oh, hi, Tita. I see you're here as well. Sorry, I don't have ice cream this time, but we'll have lots of fun, I promise. Very intimidating. So this was the inaugural use of Tita's new S-Craft satellite beam for me, where she nukes you from orbit. That's her attack. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
It felt like such a good thing. Is like the girl with the good outcome versus the girl with the bad outcome.
Yeah.
In a technological fight, machine versus machine. She's like, I've got a big robot that's as tall as 12 people. And Tita says, hang on, hold my, not beer, juice box. And just shoots a laser from space. Because apparently we've already launched something into space in Trails in the Sky's second chapter.
Somehow. Just for Tita's S-Craft.
It's a great little move. She pulls out her laptop, but this is one of the voice lines that I couldn't place when I used them for the transitions in the show. Because there's one that's just Tita humming in an echo. Because while she's launching a orbital laser at you, she's going...
She's so cute.
Just having a great time. So yes, I shot her from space and Ren had to admit defeat. She does have a nice line after this where she's like lamenting the fact that she couldn't beat you because as we come out of the fight, she's like, I'm going to nuke you, Estelle, and is ready to just fully decimate her. When again, Gospel switches off, the field around the tower collapses. And Ren says, just a few more minutes and I could have burned you and made you cry and scream as I ripped out your guts with my bare hands.
Damn, so hard.
Sorry, Ren.
We do get a little insight from Red where Ren makes it clear that, like, it was always part of the plan, that the deactivating was, like, anticipated and part of the plan. Like, when it happened, they didn't know, but she gives that away. And we're like, what? This is part of the plan?
Yeah, no one asked any follow-up questions at the society meeting.
Well, I can imagine that Ren just was, like, half paying attention. Like, Ren's just kind of there, like, what do? I kill some things? Cool, okay, now I'll go and, like, play with this doll in the corner while everyone talks to details. She's like, I don't really know. The professor did say that the barriers around the towers were the Oriole's hands. Yeah. So that, but she takes off, she's like, I gotta go. And then she goes, and next time we meet, I'll butcher you all, in all caps, with a new face on her, like, art. Like, it's a narrowed eyes, no light in the completely like matte eyes and a little like nasty little smile.
So from this mention that the hands of the Oriole, my kind of assumption is that the Gospels were plugged into the tower to make it generate all this energy, and then the bubble is the hands, and that's kind of like a trap to absorb the energy for the Oriole, to trap the energy and suck it through to the Oriole dimension.
Yeah.
But so Ren and Patamata Team Rocket blast off, and we return to the Arseille, where we get the update that the forces of the Society have been driven back in all regions, so no major damage has been done. Though Estelle's kind of lamenting the events at the top of Amberl Tower, saying that she feels a bit dumb for thinking that she could save Ren.
She's like, I was on a righteous high horse and I didn't even know why she joined. Maybe I made things worse. Like, Estelle's also lamenting, like, Estelle's like, I was so sheltered from the horrible things in the world that I, like, may have put my foot in it. To think that I thought I could save someone like her when I don't even know about that. And Joshua is the person, Joshua who would know that Estelle's naivete is a strength rather than a weakness in terms of getting through to people. Yeah. Basically says Ren's a genius, like an actual genius on every level. Her ability to understand information and process it and act on it is unparalleled. She has complete control over every situation she's in, basically. Like, she's never taken aback, she's never shocked, she's never... And as far as Joshua knows, she was born with this.
But then he says, like, but I have never, ever seen her break the way that she broke at the top of Amberl Tower. Like, she's never lost her composure in that way before, ever.
Unlike me, who, like, broke at my trauma, he's like, what Ren went through may have been worse than what I went through. Probably was worse than what I went through, which is a lot, because we just know what he went through. We just learned all about that in detail. But she didn't react like me. She didn't break the way I did. Instead, she became so flexible, so adaptive, like, nothing phases her. Yeah. So the fact that you phased her that much when her entire, like, coping with what she went through is that nothing phases her. She's so, like, adaptable and flexible. Mm-hmm. And then Joshua says, no matter how happy she might say she is, she's obviously in pain. Like, your words reached a part of Ren that Ren doesn't recognize. Like, something Ren has suppressed deep inside her and refuses to admit is there. That's what you reached, and that's why she freaked the fuck out. And that's something only Estelle Bright can do.
So there might still be hope.
And it's so cute. Estelle's like, well, nuts. When you put it like that, how can I be depressed? She's like, well, damn. Just you wait, Ren. Next we meet, I'll get to your real self.
Yeah, I love that when she says that, she puts, like, next we meet in quotes, because, like, 2 or 3 of the enforcers were all like, when next we meet, we will proceed our storyline.
When next we met, I'm therapizing a child.
At this point, Julia's like, okay, well, what do we want to do now? She recommends checking in at least in Fortress with Dad, so that we can sort of strategize on what to do next. And then Professor Russell starts screaming from outside and runs in saying that he's finished the translation of the data crystals that we gave him.
Yeah.
And kind of brings us some old news, which is that the towers are meant to keep the Oriole in a pocket dimension. We figured that out already. Catch up, Professor. And as he sort of makes his assertions, like, I believe what it is that they were sentinel posts around a cage, basically. And then we hear a voice say, that's correct. Which is when Weissman FaceTimes us and just turns up on the screen.
Yeah, the big screen that shows up, like, it comes out and opens up and his face is just there. And it's actually a pretty short FaceTime. We talk more about, like, what is this? Oh, this is this thing called hacking. It's a new phenomenon.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is funny.
Yes, forced computer entry. Hacking, some call it.
Weissman's like, I was just coming to tell you to go. It's like when my dad texts me. He's like, the moon is super big tonight. You should go outside and look at it. That's what Weissman's doing. He's like, something great is outside. You should go onto the foredeck to see it.
Because he says that he's here to make sure that we see the moment of glory. And when he says that, Joshua's like, moment of, oh shit, no. Like, he clearly knows what this is a reference to and he's scared about it.
Yeah, he's like, oh fuck.
So yeah, Weissman says, go check out the foredeck of your ship. You'll get the best view from there. And welcome to the new age.
We rush out onto the deck.
And this is the point where it is important that you've remembered to turn on movies for the video game.
Aren't you glad I told you? As we go out on deck, Estelle's like, well, what's happening? Josh was like, he said the foredeck. And then Kevin's like, look over there. And he points at a cutscene that emerges.
Yeah.
And oh my god, this is such a cool fucking cutscene. Like,
it
wow.
Looks so sick, yeah. You have this, like, this weird, like, shock of golden lightning kind of strikes out of the sky towards Valeria Lake and then freezes.
Rips open.
And expands, yeah.
It's like the lightning bolt rips open a big, like, hole in the fabric of the universe.
It forms this big shape like a Wendy Williams capital P. It's this long staff with like a big thing on top. And then it sort of fades to silver and the shape kind of unravels like a silk cocoon coming apart, which is a very cool effect. And you've got this like great sort of yellow goldy looking thing with a huge rudder sort of coming down out of into the sky, hanging in midair. And then it unfurls these wings made of light and sort of those ancient symbols
shapes,
that kind of
symbols.
Extend out behind the ship. So it kind of reminds me of all the airships, which always have that kind of imagery that the berets for the Royal Army have with the feathers in it.
Yeah.
Because the airships always have a look where they have kind of like a tail behind them in some capacity. Like even the Arseille, every time we were bringing it down into the cloud cover to hover over the towers, you'd see it extend its little like back pinions to kind of prepare for descent mode.
Yeah, it's little like paddle thingies, almost like it's a ship like in the water.
Yeah, because, you know, Liberl's all about the wings of freedom, the bird logo, the bird logo for the country.
The bird logo. The bird crest or symbol.
There we go. The flag of Liberl, I think, as well, has the bird on it. But yeah, it's that same sort of imagery. It's like these big wings extend.
And the music is so epic. I just want to point out, this is the first time there's vocals in the music. There have not been any vocals in any track until this point in both games. And now there's vocals, just like a choir. Like, it's not lyrics, but it's like choral vocals. Like, and it's like, you know how the only time in Final Fantasy VII that there's vocals is Sephiroth battle? When One Winged Angel plays?
Sephiroth.
Veni, veni, venias, ne memori fascias, veni, veni. Yeah, that. It's like that. Like, it's actually like, oh, the heavens have opened and God has descended into reality. Like, that's what it sounds like.
This is a big deal. Like, you thought it was crazy when you got teleporters?
Yeah.
Just wait. It's about to get crazy.
We flash back quickly to the ship where everyone's like, holy shit, what the fuck? Kevin's like, that's the Oriole. Chloe calls it the floating city. And then Russell goes, he's like, shit, land the ship right now.
Yeah.
And Julia's like, what? And he's like, land it right fucking now, or we're all dead. And Julia's like, okay. And we go to land the ship, and we go back to cutscene.
Yes, and at this point, something's clearly happening in this floating city because it kind of lights up, and then suddenly out of it explodes this bubble of darkness, this like purple-black thing, and it just expands and expands and expands. It is so big, we get a satellite view of Liberl as you see this thing kind of expand to cover the entire country. And as it does, one by one, lights are going out, houses are going dark, everything.
It's power outage across the entire country caused by this thing. And that's why they have to land the ship right now, because otherwise the ship will crash. And the map, I can't even tell if the map is just showing the map of a blackout, like just where power has just, like, it's just that. Though it's unclear from this map if it ends right at the border of Liberl or if it has crossed a tiny bit into the Erebonian border. You only see it for a second. It's spreading, and it's not clear if it's contained for good. It looks like it's just Liberl for now, but it's expanding.
Yeah, it's expanding in a sphere, not a Liberl shape. So we don't know if it's constrained to the borders of the country because that's where the Oriole's from or what. This is our first time seeing a mega extra-dimensional core elemental creature kind of appear in the world.
Yeah.
Everything is shutting down. The orbital shutdown has spread across the entire country because the Oriole's a lot more powerful than the Little Gospels, which we know are like the walkie-talkies to the Oriole in reality, basically. They put like a tiny, tiny piece of their power through in order to suck energy out of stuff.
And then we go to the Glorious, where our enforcers and our one Anguis are all watching what has just occurred.
I do really like that they're standing on the deck of the Glorious and Blue Blanc says marvelous. It's like, come on, there's another word right there you could have used.
Right there. Weissman just called it the moment of glory. Basically like, okay, everyone's like, oh, okay, Weissman, now we see why you made such a big deal out of this. And Louvet and Weissman explained that the Gospels were what was needed to, like, unlock it, but the problem was that all the Gospels had been sealed away, and they had to recreate Gospels. And so all of the tests have been to try and recreate something that was an exact match for the original Gospel, and they finally got it. They did all those experiments to test the Gospels in order to, like, fine-tune it to be what they needed for this project.
Yeah. One thing I also noticed with that second FMV is as the FMV is closing, you're seeing kind of that blackout effect reach the borders of Liberl. The Glorious actually comes up into frame where it's been hovering way outside the bounds of the country.
Way above it, yeah.
Yeah, so they've stayed out of range for it so they can then sort of fly back into the country, or like to an observation point at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible they have some sort of immunity set up, or it's possible that they've like just know the boundaries well enough to like stay out of it.
We find out that stage 3 of the plan is complete, which was confirmed to be bringing the Oriole into reality.
And now then the final stage.
Which means that the final 4th stage can commence. And end of chapter. So before we wrap up, I will shout out that our chess message for the week is wavelengths.
Wavelengths! Video game news for the rest of us.
If you want to hear a lot about a lot of gaming stuff, check out Wavelengths. Brendan's got regular podcast episodes coming out where he covers sort of weekly news as well as sort of pop-up videos depending on what he's been playing, and shorts that just cover day-to-day news. So check it all out, wavelengths.online.
And a blog sometimes.
I don't know how he does it all.
Become hard as steel.
So that is the end of chapter 7 for us. So where will we be heading in chapter 8?
Okay, so first, I need to preface this by saying that because you can do Chapter 8 in basically any order, there's a lot of things to do. It is going to be multiple episodes we're going to do for it. It's too long. But technically speaking, this is, I guess, going to spoil something about the premise of the chapter by telling you what we're going to do. So, if you really, really, really don't want any spoilers, just play Chapter 8 without listening to this and then come back and just play the whole thing if you're that worried. If you're okay with kind of knowing where we're going. We are going to go do Bose and Ruan. Everything there is to do, all the side quests, obvious and hidden in those regions. You have to go to the guild branch of every city. We're going to do Bose and Ruan. And then obviously all the stuff before that. That is the plot, and all the side quests are either monster eliminations or like dealing with the crisis on a local level. Because there's a crisis, obviously. Crisis time.
So, to summarize, for next episode, starting chapter 8, you will get multiple choice about your destinations. We are going to do Bose, followed by Ruan. And then we will call it a day and return to the rest of the options in part 2 of chapter 8.
Yes.
But for now, thank you so much for joining us for another probably quite long episode of Trails Through Trails covering Chapter 7. As always, it's a joy to be here. It's a joy to talk about these games. And as we get to the finale, it becomes more and more joyful because we're finally getting some answers, and I'm very excited about that.
Exciting.
If you would like to tell us how much you enjoy this chapter and coming to the end of this game, you can find us on the Orbital.net at trailspod.online or as part of the TWG podcast network at thewestgarbage.online, where you can also link through to the Discord to come and chat to us directly. You can also find us on socials at trailspod for X the Everything app, I guess, Instagram if you have to, and Blue Sky, which we'd prefer you do. You can also email us at trailsthroughtrails@gmail.com. And please feel free to leave reviews out there on your podcast apps of choice to let us know what you think about the show. Your feedback is appreciated.
Very much so.
Especially as we come to the end of our second season in the next few episodes. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, this is such an exciting. I'm like vibrating whenever I like think about these chapters. They're so good. This game is so good. It's goody and it's not even this year.
What was it? Go Toy? That can be the games of the other year.
I don't know if I get to put it as that because I've played it before, but it might be my Go Toy anyway, even though I've played it before.
It's Go Toya, games of the other year again.
Toyota Go Toya.
But until we return to the Go Toya for Chapter 8 next week, I've been Matt.
And I've been Lex.
And we will see you next time on Trails Through Trails.
Bye.
Bye.
TWG, the worst garbage, online.